that 50% of lobby, if one of them gets a chicken dinner, it's going to be done and dusted. And no matter if you were in first place at the start of that game, you're getting knocked down one. It's frustrating, I would say, for a lot of our squads, the way that works. It's not going to affect the top four too much, because I think if you're getting to the point where you're able to hit that smash ruling, you're probably going to be in the top four anyway. But there is also a possibility, a world where we get to match 6 and it's the 6th place team that's crossed that boundary. They get a chicken dinner and suddenly they ladder up, and they would kick out that 4th place team who had thought they'd secured their spot over towards EWC.
That would be pretty galling as well, right? It's not an easy scenario to try and comprehend right now, but it is just that tense at this stage. Of course, it could all be for nothing, right? It could just be Regnum Kaya. They get 10 points on that first match, then they get a chicken dinner, and it's all done and dusted, right? And nothing moves, nothing changes. They're up in that top spot, and we're all fine and dandy. And of course, it could be one of the teams from the top 4 that get that chicken dinner once they're past that smash boundary to jump up into first. It wouldn't change who qualifies, just in what order they would qualify, which would be still, you'd be a bit miffed by dropping down, getting bumped by, what was it, like 5 to 15 grand, depending on where you are exactly in the top 4. But you would still get that qualification spot. So it wouldn't be all gloom and doom. It would be a little bit of sunshine and rainbows peeking through around the end.
Yeah, it would be just a couple. The clouds would part slightly for you. But today we are looking at quite a few teams. So we've already spoke about some of them, but we'll list them off. S2G, Regnum Kaya, Falcons, Kara, BWNRX, Boars. These are all teams that have done fantastically well so far. Our 6 teams, let's say, in terms of qualification of towards that top side. There are some teams who are lagging a little bit further behind. I think it was 9th place, if I'm not mistaken, where we had that 70 point down towards a 50 point drop off. And I would say from there, that's where I'm really counting teams out at this point. But there is a big possibility for a lot of teams to get towards a 4th spot and beyond. Now, it really does depend on our first map here on Sandhawk, how well Regnum Kaya does, how well S2G does, and how well all of them do. It's get tough. Let's head over to the stage and get a recap of what's been going on.
Karşılaşmaya veda etti ve Regnum Kaya Spor şampiyonsuz bir şekilde şampiyon olmayı başarıyor. Global Open'da şampiyon Regnum Kaya Spor. Ve maç bitti ve ekranda 4. İşte böyle. Dokunma. Sayla bizi izliyor. Sayla.
Hoş geldiniz! Welcome to the 2025 PMSL EU Spring Grand Finals! Woo! It's good to see you here. It's going to be a great one. Welcome into stunning, glorious Istanbul, Turkey, where it is the final day of our competition. One of our teams will walk away as champions very, very soon. My name is Adam Savage, and this colossus of a human being is Billy G.
Değerli misafirler, bir kez daha hepiniz 2025 PMSL Avrupa Bahar finallerine hoş geldiniz. Enerji harika, hepiniz harikasınız. Bugün bir takım kupayı alıp evine götürecek. Ama daha önemlisi 4 takım e-spor Dünya Kupası'nda yarışacak. Şimdi daha fazla beklemeyelim ve takımları çağırmaya başlayalım. Let's start with the first team.
Yes, indeed. We've got lots coming your way here. We have our teams coming out shortly. Remember, it is all about winning today, getting one of those 4 spots for the Esports World Cup this summer as well here. So it's all to play for, not to mention this trophy as well. Our teams needed to have swatted up and done their homework ahead of what's to come their way. Remember, Smash rules apply today as well. Are we ready to meet the teams? Are you ready, Billy G?
I'm ready.
Okay. Should we start with the first one?
Let's start.
Let's start indeed. A new challenge. They're not here just to push boundaries. They're here to redefine them.
Yeni bir meydan okuma. Sınırları aşmak için değil, yeniden tanımlamak için buradalar. Barsay Esports!
Next up, from PMNC to PMGO, they left a mark at every stop. Now it's their time to make history at the finals.
PMNC'den PMGO'ya her turnuvada iz bıraktılar. Şimdi onlar için final zamanı. Black Esports!
All right. Now, comebacks are always special. This is the perfect mix of youth and experience.
Geri dönüşler her zaman özeldir. Gençlik ve tecrübenin şekil bulmuş hali. Fenerbahçe Esports!
Alrighty. Next up, a legend reawakens. The legacy of years now locked on a new target.
Bir efsane yeniden uyanıyor. Yılların mirası şimdi yeni bir hedefe kilitleniyor. Foot Esports!
Now, before the storm comes silence. Now that silence is breaking. Brace yourselves.
Fırtına kopmadan önce sessizlik olur. Şimdi o sessizlik bozuluyor. Thunder Talk!
Now I feel this next team making a bit of crowd support here as well. Once world champions, now they are back for more. Fueled by the glory of the past, they are here to conquer once again.
Bir zamanların dünya şampiyonu şimdi yeniden sahnede. Geçmişin ihtişamıyla geleceği fethetmeye geliyorlar. S2G Esports!
Wow. Crowd loving it here right now. Next up, they came quietly, but they're about to shake the stage and everyone will hear their name.
Sessiz geldiler, dikkat çekmediler ama şimdi herkes onları konuşacak. İda Esports!
Now, familiar faces, fearless goals. They're not here to follow, they're here to lead.
İsimleri tanıdık, hedefleri ezber bozan. Kuralları bilen değil, yazan olmak istiyorlar.
Papara Supermassive. Our next competitors, they fly high, they lock onto their target. They glide in silence, but they strike with noise. They are coming.
Yüksekten uçup hedefe kilitlenirler, sessizce süzülürler, vurunca ses getirirler. Onlar geliyor.
Team Falcons! next up, here we go. Hunters better watch out, because this time, the prey is the most determined force on stage.
Avcılar dikkatli olun çünkü bu kez av sahnenin en kararlı gücü.
Boys Gaming! All right. Moving on. A master plan behind the silence. Every move calculated. They've taken the first step. Now it's time to write a legend.
Sessizliğin ardında plan, her adımda strateji. İlk adımı attılar. Şimdi destan yazma zamanı.
Bra BRX Mumya! Very eager, very eager. Next, they missed the plane, but they are right on time for the fight. The Warriors of Europe are here.
Uçağı kaçırdılar ama finalleri değil. Avrupa'nın savaşçıları burada.
K1 Esports. Next, always there, always consistent. Now they're on stage for a PMWC ticket. Their goal, being crowned as champions.
Her zaman orada, her zaman istikrarlı. Bu kez PMWC bileti için sahnede. Hedef şampiyonluk.
Bushido Wildcats next Rüya. Emerged from the dark, now they rise to rule over them all.
Karanlıktan gelen bir sessizlik. Şimdi ise her şeyi sarsacak bir yükseliş.
Kara Esports! Oh, the fans are going wild, man. This is great. Okay, next. Success is a habit, and they're not done yet. Reigning champions of PMGO returning to continue their winning streak.
Başarının adı artık ezberlendi. PMGO şampiyonu zafer serisini sürdürmek için karşınızda
Regnum Karya Esports! For our final team, they've coming in flames, burning to become the champions. Here they come.
Finallerin yarışacak son takımı. Alev alev geliyorlar, şampiyonluk ateşiyle yanıyorlar.
Fireflux Esports! This is going to be big. This is going to be huge. The fans seem very ready for this, Billy.
Bence de taraftarlar hazır görünüyor. Are they really ready?
I think should we test it out? Should we have one more time? Should we hear from the fans one more time? I think we need to.
Like we did yesterday. Do you want them to
we need more,
stand
though.
up if they're
More.
able?
Let's elevate it.
Okay. Arkadaşlar, buradaki herkesten muhteşem bir çığlık istiyorum takımınız için, oyuncularınız için, herkes için. Çünkü bugün son gün. Bugün finallerin son günü. 3'ten geriye sayacağız Adam'la birlikte. Müthiş bir çığlık istiyorum. Let's count down from 3. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
We are so ready for the grand finals, baby. What is going to happen? We're about to find out. Our next game coming your way. For now, it's over to our desk.
Şimdi analiz masasına geçiyoruz. Birazdan ilk maça başlayacağız. Tankut ve Scarlett sizdeyiz.
We're not over there. Stop pointing over there. We're here, right here for you guys on the English broadcast for the PMSL Europe. And of course, we're ready to kick things off. It's going to go into Sandhawk. We're going to be going over a couple of house rules before we get into it. We're going to get a little bit of a refresher before we kick things off today. We've covered a little bit about the teams, what they've sort of been doing. A couple of the shout outs there at the start. Didn't quite ring true, I think, to how some of the teams have been performing over the course of the last 2 days. But maybe it's a prophecy for today, right? Maybe that's what they're calling out for. Although a bit hopeful, I think, especially when it concerns Bra.
Bra been touted as like ruling over them all. It's like, oh, I think the only thing they're ruling over is the Jester's outfit down at the bottom there at the moment. They're struggling. They're definitely struggling. Also, most consistent team in BWRX. Well, I would go ahead and say they've been quite inconsistent. They've had like a lot of ups and downs so far. I was happy with Regnum Kaya though. You know, they've said they won PMGO, and that they did.
That's a very true fact. Who would you say is the most consistent team here, though? I think that's an interesting question.
That's an easy one.
Okay.
You can answer that.
Okay, that's S2G, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's got to be.
Although, here asking me
I mean, they did have a pretty rough run towards the end of yesterday. After that first match, they basically did nothing.
If we're talking about consistency, you can't just be like, those three matches right there. That was bad for them, wasn't it?
Well, how about 5?
Let's take a look at the 3 days in league stage, the 3 days in knockouts, and day 1 as well from finals.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, I think it's quite certain to say that S2G is definitely our most consistent team. I think that's closely followed by probably Regnum Kaya, maybe. I think Regnum Kaya has had like some good stand-up points. Let's take a look at the tournament format for the final time. We've seen it every single day during this tournament. We're at the end of it right now. We're at the grand finals. It is day 6. 6 matches potentially at an offline tournament here held in Istanbul. 16 teams, 1 champion, and just 4 EWC slots to head over towards PNWC. And it's all riding on this, John.
Yeah, the Smash rule as well is in effect today. We've been talking about it for a week and a bit, even more, and it is going to be coming through today. Of course, over the first 2 days, Regnum Kaya got 103 points. We add 10 to that score, meaning 113 points is our Smash score target. If any team, not just Regnum Kaya, any team gets 113 points, after the match that they hit 113 points, even if that match is a chicken dinner, they still have to do it again. After they've hit that boundary, if they get a chicken dinner, they win and the whole thing is over. They win the entire tournament. They get 35 grand. They get a qualification spot to PMWC next month. And that is one hefty prize as well. Speaking of prizes, let's take a look at the money that sits at the top of those tables. You get 35 grand for a first place if you're able to grab it.
35,000 for that first place, 20 grand for second, and 15,000, a cool one there for third place. 35 grand would be fantastic. We were having discussions yesterday, though, about how, getting that EWC slot actually is worth quite a lot of money all on its own. So even if you get 4th place here and secure your position over towards EWC, it's a really, really nice position. So if you're in 4th place and the game gets secured, in terms of a Smash ruling, you're not going to be too upset because you've been locked in. It's very tumultuous in that 4th place right now, in which case teams can go in and out from that position all day. So if you get locked in by a team doing much better than you at the top, I don't think you're going to be too displeased that you weren't able to grab that 35 grand.
Yeah, so it is kind of all about that qualification spot for so many of these teams. And of course, courtesy of Regnum Kaya, we got that extra qualification spot, as they said, on the walkouts. They did, of course, win PMGO. They got that fourth slot available to Europe as a region. So that is really what a lot of our teams are competing for. Because, of course, at the moment, it looks like we've got a fairly clear top three, although the boundary is pretty close by, with Kara and Falcons with an opportunity to overtake the Boars and S2G with a little bit of a downturn at the end of yesterday. Could potentially change things up, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, the top three does feel like they have been outperforming the rest of the lobby, and it feels like it's quite likely that they're going to continue to do so as well in today's games. We'll have to wait and see if they are able to, but we've said before, it feels like it's only that fourth place scramble that is really up for grabs. And that competition goes all the way down to like 10th place right now, Blank, with K1 on 70 points, fourth place is 85.
It's tough. It's very, very tough. And I think that, there is a scenario where some of our teams actually leapfrog. And you are right. And I will concede slightly over towards yesterday, where Regnum Kaya and S2G weren't able to do amazingly done. But we're going to head back over towards the stage where we'll see all of our players getting ready for this game.
Tanıyorsunuzdur mutlaka. Buradaki oyuncular, takımlar, herkes tanıyordur. İlk soruya geçmeden önce, before the first question.
Yeah, sure, of course.
İbrahim abi, buradaki ortam için, takımlar için, oyuncular için, Silas için ne söylemek istersin?
Yani öncelikle bütün takımlara başarılar diliyorum. İyi olan kazansın. Herkes çok güzel, muhteşem bir ortam var. Yani Silas'a da başarılar diliyorum.
So he's congratulating every single team in the finals, especially Regnum Karya and Silas, I suppose. Yes. Yeah.
Of course, of course. When Silas told you he wanted to become a professional PUBG mobile player, what was your reaction to that?
Tamam.
İlk sorumuz şöyle abi sana. Silas sana gelip, baba ben artık PUBG Mobile'da e-sporcu olacağım dediğinde tepkin ne oldu? Ama doğru tepkin.
Yani tabii ki boğazına sarılmadım. Ama tabii ki bir babanın illaki tepkisi olacak. Biz de ufak bir tepki gösterdik ama sonra da peşinden gittik. Yani onu takip ediyoruz şu an.
The first reaction was like, of course, he says I didn't strangle him. But we were like surprised what we like supported him all the way.
Incredible. Looking at his journey so far, how do you think he has changed as a person? How do you think he has changed, Silas, over his time competing?
İbrahim abi, Silas bu e-spor yolculuğunda sence nasıl değişti? Nasıl bir insana evrildi? Nasıl etkisi oldu e-sporun ona?
Yani Silas ilk başladığı günden beri üzerine koyarak devam etti. Yani değişimi zaten hepimiz görüyoruz. Şampiyonluklar geldi arka arkaya. Halen de değişmeye devam ediyor.
Nasıl bir insan oldu mesela? Hani daha mı düzenli oldu, daha mı dağınık oldu, daha mı hırslı oldu,
Yok,
daha
çok
mı
düzenliydi
özgüvenli oldu?
zaten. Daha da düzenli oldu. Yani daha ağırbaşlı oldu. Sorumluluk almaya başladı. Helal olsun diyoruz yani.
So basically the esports and PUBG Mobile, the discipline made him like a more mature person. So he's happy with that.
Yeah, that's great. Wow, this crowd, I mean, they are on the side.
Thank you.
They're excited. This is great. And the players need this. It inspires them. Has Silas said anything to you recently, Ibrahim, that's really stayed with you, something that's really touched your heart on this journey?
Son zamanlarda böyle
We're hearing Silas, your son is emotional behind you right now because I guess his dad's out here talking about him and hearing the crowd as well. Yeah. I'm not surprised being at a grand finals like this. So very
Should
special.
we continue or ne yapalım? İyi misin? Bunca insan seni seviyoruz.
Kalbimdesin oğlum.
Silas, çok özel bir şey. Gelmek ister misin bir saniyeliğine?
Come and hang out with your dad. Come on.
Gel kardeşim benim, gel.
That's right. Let's hear it for Silas, everyone.
Gururumuz.
Thank you, Silas. What a guy. What a moment that was as well. That's really lovely. As his father, is there any words of support that you could say to Silas right now, Ibrahim?
Şimdi şöyle bir sorumuz vardı. Silas'ı desteklemek için herhangi bir şey söylemek ister misiniz gibisinden ama artık bence gerek kalmadı. I think there is no need for that question.
Zaten
Yes.
kalbimizde şu an. Gururumuz.
Şimdi şöyle bir şey yapalım. En azından biraz daha böyle duygusallığı azaltmak adına. Silas'ın böyle ilginç bir yanı var mı böyle kimsenin bilmediği? Böyle bir özelliği var mı? Her
Yani-
sabah çiğ yumurta yer gibi. Biraz
Yok,
da böyle
çok yemek
eğlenceli.
yediği doğru ama her sabah çiğ yumurta yemiyor ama çok hırslı, duygusal aynı zamanda gördünüz. Yani başka bir özelliği kazanmak istiyor zaten. Başka bir özelliği yok yani. Hırsı. Tek özelliği hırsı.
The thing is, I asked him about that. What's the one thing that we don't know about Silas? But he basically says the same thing. He likes to win. He's
Yeah.
passionate. He's disciplined.
Şampiyon.
That's it.
A champion.
He's the guy.
A champion.
Yes.
We must go back to the desk for now, but should we give Ibrahim a huge round of applause? Make some noise, please, for Ibrahim, Silas's
İbrahim
father,
abimiz
everyone.
için çok güçlü bir alkış alalım sizlerden.
Amazing.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Rica ederim. Ben-
These stories.
Big up to Ibrahim. Let's go. Yeah, all right. That was a really quite touching moment there. Father-son moment. Obviously, a lot of pride there in the family. That's got to feel pretty nice, especially at these finals, right? At a live event like that.
It is funny because Silas is such a killer inside those matches, but he is quite an emotional guy when it comes down to. I think there are several times, and to be honest with you, I like that. He does wear his emotions on his sleeves, and I think that's okay. I think that's actually that is a mature thing to do, rather than bottling it all up a lot of times. And it's sweet. It is a sweet moment there for Silas, with his dad cheering him on. There is a big chance for them today to actually head up towards that champion slot. Once again, coming off the back-to-back between PMGO, heading through over towards the boys getting this PMSL EU championship. PMGO into this would be a great victory for Regnum Kaya, and just the beginning of their streak.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at some of the champions coming on in. Potentially, any of these teams could be taking it here. These are our current top 4 teams, of course, with their representatives standing around that trophy, willing to get their hands on it. But only one of these players, one of their teams, will be lifting it at the end of today. Who it will be, still uncertain, but we're going to find out very shortly. And you're right about Silas. He has such a passion for the game. I mean, I remember him playing underneath the S2G banner right back at the end of PMGC, I think 2023, if I'm not mistaken, in Istanbul. Coming on in and having a pretty rough time in those final few matches. It slipped away, and he was pretty inconsolable there. And I think he had a real tough time working through it, and he has really come out all the better for it. And right now, they are at the top of the pack. You can see Regnum Kaya under Silas's guidance there with 103 points. Our team that has set that smash boundary, and everyone else close behind them. It's not comfortable.
I think for Regnum Kaya, and at least for Silas as well, it is a case that I think the pressure got to him over on S2G. There is a huge fan base around him, and I do think that it affected his gameplay quite a lot, and it was affecting it negatively in the long run. It's a huge organization. There is a massive fan base for S2G over in Turkey, and I think for Silas it wasn't a healthy space for him. So him moving over towards Regnum Kaya and finding success over here with some good friends of his as well, that had been a big thing for him, because it was a fresh start. It was a clean slate for Silas. And I think he reproved in those moments that he could stay at the top. And that's not to really discredit Wild or Loxy. I think Toshbek's a bit of a new addition for them, but I think Wild and Loxy's been there with him since the start, and they've had his back in more ways than one, with Loxy clutching out a lot of moments. Wild, the survivor himself, on side. But we head down towards 10th place, K1, 70 points. That's really the cutoff for us here. On 10th place, getting up towards the top. I know we just showed the that title image is where we were saying that there's 4 teams that there is really a lot more. There's a lot more that have the chance to do it today. As we get further into things, realistically, if you're looking at that top 4 there, you sort of think to yourself, that's coming off match 2 and 3. That's not looking over towards match 4, 5, and 6. And it also depends whether we initiate that smash ruling at the end of the day, whether it comes through or not. But there is a lot of opportunity for it. When there's only 6 teams that can't activate the smash ruling coming into match 5 and 6, that's where you have a scary prospect on your mind. You're also hoping for the teams that are doing quite badly to get the chicken dinner and no one else, which, again, is quite unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting dynamic, and I think that what it sort of will boil down to is, as a team, you just have to play your best PUBG Mobile. I think that letting that sort of tournament structure get in your head can be really detrimental, right? You're thinking too much about, oh, well, if it's this team that's getting the points, then this team and this team, and then all of a sudden you've missed a rotation, you've missed your window, you're losing out on the points that you could have earned by just getting head down and playing the game to the best of your ability. And I think that is the mentality that should be taken by a lot of these teams, right? Especially the teams lower down. If they want to make it, they can't be too concerned with like, oh, who am I exactly competing with? What's going on here? What's the exact dynamic? It needs to just be play your best PUBG Mobile and try and stick to your plans. Make sure that is going to be enacted. It's interesting when you look at the scores, though, from our perspective. Obviously, we can give this a little thought, right? From our perspective, we're looking at the tables and thinking which teams can start to enact the smash ruling and when. Right, so we have Regnum Kaya obviously ahead, but you've also got S2G and Boars that could potentially activate the smash ruling potential in their first match. Right, could potentially be in this Sandhawk that they have that opportunity to jump up and achieve that boundary and potentially win it all in match number 2. But we are going to be heading into our first match of the day. It's Sandhawk. We are kicking off for the proceedings that are yet to come. All these teams nervous, sure, but ready. I hope so.
Absolutely. So S2G crowds out there all looking for S2G to make this one happen as we get underway with our first match of the day over on Sandhawk. A very, very scary place is Sandhawk to start things off. A lot of things can change, can happen in a blink of an eye. And when those 10 points that Regnum Kaya are relying on to get here, to get themselves in a position where they can get that smash ruling, you're a bit scared. You're a bit scared coming into this one. I think it sort of depends on the circle here, though, for me, John. If the circle heads up towards that north side, it greatly benefits the likes of Regnum Kaya, the likes of S2G that play in Paradise Resort, and multiple times over the entirety of this tournament and league stage, knockouts, as well as the finals, it has been a battle between Regnum Kaya and S2G. Now, it is a bit easier for Regnum Kaya here. All they need to do is secure those 10 points and then start looking from there onwards towards picking themselves up a big win.
Taking a look at is that co-streamers? I think it might be. Goodness me, look at that. I'm wearing a Regnum Kaya jersey. No secret on the favoritism there coming on through the watch parties for the Turkish language broadcast. Very, very nice to see. They're live and in the venue. They're hanging out. I mean, they're in Istanbul, right? They're probably a little bit closer to it. Goodness me. The fans showing so much support as well. And each of these teams having their various watch parties, the coaches, the analysts also getting involved. That was, I believe, over towards Kara, I believe,
it was
over on that corner.
We had he's one of the influencers that we saw earlier answering questions. It's nice to see everyone in the building, all chatting, all watching, making sure that they can see exactly what's going on in these matches. But here we go into the first game of the day of Grand Finals, Day 3. It's all decided here, John. Let's see who makes it out with those extra points to unleash themselves into a smash ruling capability.
It is up to them to decide if they want it enough to be able to grind out these points all the way up to 113. Of course, that is our smash ruling boundary. Once a team surpasses it, they can get a chicken dinner and win it all, end the tournament right there and then. Our plane path sits from Lakawi, from Kampong rather, over towards Hatin. And we will be seeing if there's going to be any argy-bargy, any hot drops early. I'm not expecting there to be, but could be any third day adjustments. This is our last Sandhawk of the tournament. Let's get into it.
Up towards that northwest side, we've got Boards, we've got S2G in Paradise Resort. A little bit further down the way in Painan, we actually have Regnum Kaya chilling out in that position. These are the teams that we are looking at currently. Up towards that top side of the lobby, looking to lock this one down. And we'll wait and see where our first circle does end up and where it will send us across to, and how these teams will have to play around it from their respective positions on the map.
Everybody looking for the circle, and there it pops over to the east mainland there, north of Quarry. BWNRX pretty happy about this. Teams on the eastern side as well going to have a little bit less to contend with, so Fireflux potentially could have a good time with this circle. As we are sending out to that side. If they can control the ground on the east side of Quarry, they'll be able to cut off a lot of south side rotations should they come on through. No early fights, and you can see at the top of that tower graphic on the right-hand side, that smash point boundary. That boundary will drop down the table as teams surpass it, but it sits above everyone as it stands.
The Regnum Kaya on our screens at the moment. Down in Painan, currently looting up. No real dangers around them as of yet. And Barsai over towards that northwest edge. We don't really see any hot drops here on Sandhawk either. Everyone keeping it cool, calm, and collected. And they should know exactly where most people are dropping. You can see over there on the right-hand side of the screen, nice little reminder that that's the smash point right there, 113. As teams pass it, we'll be heading over, grab ourselves a winner, potentially, if they're able to take a match after.
That's what they'll be looking for. It's what every single team on the tables would be looking for, right? Try and grab that chicken dinner, get on up the tables. I think that as well as the fourth place scramble, it's going to be on teams looking to push up towards third to guarantee themselves that they can't be pushed out by a smash ruling, right? If we get towards the later stages of today, being in third place is so much more secure than being in fourth, right? So being able to jump up that 6-point gap for Kara, that 8-point gap for Falcons would be absolutely huge to be able to secure themselves one of those spots and jump up over the boars, maybe even over S2G to be a lot safer. Obviously, first place, safe as you can be. Safe as houses, really. But Regnum Kaya going to still have to defend it because teams will close that gap faster than they would like.
Especially here on Sandhawk. We talk about it a lot of times in the past as well, where there is a lot of points on the line here on Sandhawk. A lot of wins have come down to 15 to 16 eliminations on the match. So you're looking at 26 points potential there for some of these squads. That would send Falcons flying up to 109, just shy of that smash point ruling on one game if they're able to make it happen. For Boars, they'd absolutely pass it, as would S2G. It's a scary one, but it also allows teams that have massively get themselves in a position where they can be fighting out for those top 4 positions. Yeah, we talk a lot about this smash ruling, but there is that possibility that we just end the day on 6 matches and find our winner then.
Yeah, it can go to points, right? It doesn't have to be a smash victory. You can still old-fashioned way of getting the most points in the lobby. But you'll have to wait and see if that is to be the case. Fireflux, they've left from Painan. They're sending up fairly central, taking control of... Regnum Kaya, leaving Painan, moving up to take control of a more central area on the circle. We'll be pretty happy to find that spot. Fireflux a little bit shorter than that on the east side of Quarry, with Barsai actually ahead of them. So could potentially be some trouble there. S2G, spot a knock, and it's up 4 on foot.
Already finding that one. Do they confirm over towards it, though? The circle's over towards the east, and we haven't really seen circles like this in quite a while. And we'll wait and see what happens in Zone 2. But yeah, over towards the eastern side, it's a little bit different for a lot of our squads. how they want to play things out. Regnum Kaya did move out from Painan over towards the western side of Quarry earlier. I think they may have moved since then, but again, on zone 1, realistically, it's just getting as close to the center of the circle without exposing yourself too much. And I think western side of Quarry is a good way to achieve that. Press 2G, they fully left Paradise Resort. They didn't presume that it would be heading up that way anytime soon, and if it does, at least they can get themselves straight back into it. But it's more looking over towards the compounds on the roads.
Uh-oh, pause. Rolling over the bridge. They might be rolling straight into a trap, though, because Tuluk is already down. Kaus is low, very, very low as well. You can't even see his health bar there, but it doesn't matter, because Striker eats some lead to the face, goes straight down, looks for the first aid, but finally he's spotted with an off angle. One of our top 4 teams, Blank, they've had 3 players fall, and it's all up to Pusher to survive. Thunder Talk while lying in wait, and that should be 3 easy points to pick up.
Well, this is balls all over, isn't it, really? It is sometimes quite careless gameplay from this team. And I think that careless gameplay has given them a lot of opportunity to get a lot of points where they have just made plays that teams would just not assume squads to go for. And I like this from TTQ. They're like, okay, you just want to cross from heart in, do you? And you think no one's going to punish you for it because no one has. We're going to gatekeep. We're absolutely just going to gatekeep here. Now, Boars get completely wrecked on that one. I think you absolutely have to go into day 3 on a finals, at least, to expect something like that. This was a wild crossing from the Boars, and they don't have any time to fix this or repair it. This is the last time you're playing Sandhawk, and you have just scrubbed away so many points that are on the card for you. Now, for them, it's looking more likely they'll only open up Smash Ruling come game 3.
Taking a look at the circle, it goes over towards Quarry as Pusher. Now, yeah, you're right, isolated up the top. Just taking a look at what they did. They didn't even scout the other end of the bridge, right? They just left Hut in and just went straight across. And they should have known, they should have seen the parachutes, right, from Thunder Talk dropping in this area. Really not good stuff. The circle goes over towards Quarry, keeps a lot of the teams around Quarry. Well, I wouldn't say happy necessarily. Rectum Kaya, they're in danger, as Barse. Actually rolling on into the fight pretty well. The roll up from Rectum Kaya doesn't go super well, but they've still got a little bit more to play for. There's a reason they're at the top of the tables. They do manage to get into the corner building, only with 3 players though, so they'll be a little bit curtailed. Oh, BWNRX went down in the meantime.
Where did that happen? They just got obliterated, and we didn't even get to see it, which is unfortunate.
I think that must have been Foot, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It must have been Foot considering the score lines, but that's a poor push that comes through. For Regnum Kaya, for them, it's bad that they do lose a player early, but this is one of the few maps you can play as 3. But they only need 10 points. They need 10 points, and they do want to open it up early on. They don't need a chicken dinner here. They just need some. That is a wild maneuver coming through from K1.
Hit them with the inside-outside, rope-a-dope, but all 4 players still alive. K1 suffering pretty heavily, a lot of their players burning down low. Only 1 knock, that's a second though. There is finally an answer, but there's damage from the off angles. Look at a pour on through as well as on the inside. You've still got 1 more player to handle. Capri's, he's super, super low, but is going for that first aid before going for that res. So is easy for Bad Boy. They want to be able to take the fight should it pop out of the doors from them. Rolex, close by, up close and personal. Nade in hand, he only got the 1. Let's make it count, but the burn is on. Puts the pin back in. He will find that re-knock there and the shotgun around the corner, but he will fall in response. The reses now coming on through. Can Bra get there in time to stop it?
Where is the rest of the team from Bra? What are we doing just watching this fight unfold? A nade goes out. It looks fairly decent. Will hit big on the backside, but again, why did that take so long for Bra to do anything there, leaving their player out in the cold on the front line? But K1 does go down. That hurts them, as it hurts BWNRX. And I think you're right. They did go down to Foot. They tried to crash down towards the eastern side of Quarry, but there are already teams set up here.
It was far too occupied, and you see Barsai, one of those teams, Reckon Kaya on that north point. It was just that Foot were able to earn those points. I mean, if those points had gone to Regnum Kaya, this is a very different match very, very quickly, right? If they get 4 extra points on the cards, they're up to 108, 5 points behind that smash point boundary. Oh, my goodness me. It could have been very, very tense here, but They're still on that 104, still a little bit of a way to go. Falcons, they're moving in from Sami. They're pushing on over the cave. Fenerbahce in their way. The Falcons don't want the fight. They're going to turn around, try and go a different way.
For the Falcons, they need to get up towards that top 4 early. I think that it's not unlikely at all that Regnum Kaya finishes this tournament on a smash ruling. So I think for for Falcons at least, they need to get themselves up into action fast. And this is an unbelievable circle to do it on. They can cut east quite comfortably and quickly and get themselves over towards a position on the map that's playable. But they're letting Fenerbahce get ahead, and they may even just let Ida get ahead as well from Quarry, and they have done nothing. They are sat still outside of the circle. But yeah, I mean, for Falcons, they need to get towards the top 4 so that if the game ends on match 2 or match 3, they can stay within that chance to get an EWC slot. So they can't let Kara get ahead too far early on in this tournament.
The difficulty, though, is that Kara is slap bang in the middle of this next circle blank. They have a really good compound position in the middle. With all those teams on the north side, that buffer zone is pretty big. It's the south side that is potentially a little bit dangerous for them over towards Kampong. The hills to their south edge as well. If the Falcons rotate through there, if Fenerbahce opts to push in, it could be a bit dangerous, but I don't expect that Kara are going to go down without a fight at the moment. And it's looking pretty good. So for the Falcons, the team that's just ahead of them is having a bad time. Maybe you set your sights on the Boars instead.
That would be a decent scenario to go for. He's put himself in over towards Lakawi as pusher. He has to move further down. There isn't anyone playing around that area right now, so he can comfortably just move along the coastal side. Depends if anyone heads out too far that way and finds him. Kampong is currently open, though. There is potential for teams to send over there and stay safe, at least for a little while. And here's Kara on our screens. Not always the nicest of compounds. There is a lot of capability to get nades in here. Open up an engagement. It's just the open ground around it that keeps you safe.
We're looking at the area to the south now starting to fill up. Ida obviously now entrenched. Falcons were looking to sweep down on the south side, rotate. Fenerbahce very slow to leave from cave, actually allowing Ida into their north side. And it looks like, yeah, Kampong now will be the resting place. Well, rather the hidey hole for Pusher, the last player from Boars. I think Thunder Talk are going for a wide wrap out on the east side as well. Could be seeing them on the south edge of this too. With Quarry on the western edge, teams do need to decide to approach this directly from the north or directly from the south, which is why we're seeing a few teams swinging so far on that south side.
It's a nice cut-in from Falcons as they head directly out into the blue towards dockside, and then they'll rotate back up again where we saw them now. So I do like that coming through from the Falcons. Gets them into a good position that's playable going forward. Fenerbahce obviously with a much stronger compound, but you're right, Kara slap bang center here on those compounds, very hard to deal with, and likely a high placing game. But with a circle that sends far down towards the south, now we're looking at Regnum Kaya, who's going to really struggle to push through Barsai.
Could be difficult. The question is, do Barsai want to spend the time out there? With Foot getting ahead of them, they're already moving right from that northern side. It is going to be a difficult decision for Barsai to just take that fight. I'm not entirely sure if that's the right decision for them. Even if they can stop Regnum Kaya, it's going to be tricky. There go Foot, trying to make their way on through the middle. A miraculous rotate. We'll see if they get torn up for it. S2G potentially losing another player, though. They were also stuck on this northern side. And Papra Supermassive, who sit to the southwest of Lakawi right now in these hills, have a lot of control over this rotate.
Yeah, S2G crumbling quite a bit here. And you will get some targeted plays here to give more time to our other teams to remain in this one. Here's Regnum Kaya now making a quick rotate out, and Barsai are nowhere to be seen to try and stop this from happening. And Regnum Kaya may have just got ahead of the pack here.
Using the quarry cover. That is a really smart decision there for Regnum Kaya. They know that the teams on the lining of quarry will have left. They give them a little bit of time to get out of there, and they use that cover to get away from Barsai. They know they can mount it at the far end, but now they have to find a home. Loxy going wild on into the middle. I know that's his teammate, but it's going to be him channeling it. Regnum Kaya actually surviving for the time being. Toshpik dangerously low. So is Wild, and it's up to IDA that they try and find these positions, and it's good for them. Another knockdown, and they get a little bit more territory under their control. Fenerbahce are just around the corner, but have they made it, Blank?
It's a mad position to play for Regnum Kai. An absolutely crazy push that they go for. They're sandwiched between two teams. Azel taking shots over towards Kelsey as S2G were able to get 3 of their players back up again. I don't know how Regnum Kai has made this work. They're currently slightly protected coming through from Kara, but I think they are very much looking towards just getting 10 points on the game. Unfortunately, Loxy will go down. That's to Ida.
It is not flushed out just yet, though. There was a response, so we'll have to wait and see if that one can be flushed away. Lots of scraps on this northern side. S2G starting to crumble. Regnum Kai is still not able to get this res just yet. Wild. Actually, no, they do. Toshpik able to pull him back up, and immediately a re-knock, and it's a double with the nade, and Ida may have just stopped them from pushing past that smash boundary here. Very likely we're going to at least game 3 now. The circle shifts all the way south, and that is great news for the Falcons in the meantime.
Pusher picks up the final elim. So we won't be seeing a smash ruling on the first match of the day at least, but it gives more opportunity for teams underneath to crawl on up. Falcons still playing it very, very slow and cautiously down towards the southeast side with 4 players still up. But Kata with 2 points will sit themselves ahead. But you're right, there is that chase possibility over towards S2G, over towards Boars right now. But Boars doing a pretty good job to stay in this one.
I mean, the circles helped out a little bit, kept Kampong in for a long, long time for Pusher to stay there unscathed. Not too many teams are going to look to push there just yet. I think if Papara Supermassive conclude this fight on the north side, they could potentially try and sweep through it and catch him. But we'll have to wait for that, as it looks like we've got Bram moving on up to get involved as well. They're not having a great time of it, though, because the loss does go down, but Papara Supermassive holding their own on the hillsides. S2G struggling to make their way forwards. Icy, the last player now alive for them on the northern side, and everyone out in the zone getting pushed southward by the circle.
Good molly coming through from Icy over towards Poser. How long did they stay up? And Lewis will find Icy, and that's a few elims found now for the boys on Kata, up to 3 now. Boar still alive during all of this. Fireflux will go down. A lot of the teams that were chasing are getting cut out massively here. Papara Supermassive not doing badly at all, up to 76 points now.
They have had a little bit of a resurgence over yesterday, and it seems like they want to try and continue that trend. On the northern side, they've had a cheeky engagement with S2G. They controlled that rotation nicely. CEO later trying to get pulled back to his feet right now. Lewis on a hero mission. Has to be worried about Papara Supermassive, though, on the high ground. Aaron has the nade around the corner. That could be devastating. 2 of them fall. And IDA looking to light them up. The side swipe from Rita was huge, and that nade was even bigger.
Wow.
So low. How has he hit that one? Aaron going wild with the ordnance now, and it's just 1 player remaining from Kara.
Yes, having a curveball his way, and Kara is now eliminated, ending this game on 89 points, just shy of Boars and S2G's position. Everyone at the top side of the lobby barely got anything on this one. 1 point apiece for all of those 3 teams. 3 points for Kara, and now Falcons have a good opportunity to start chasing big here.
Falcons looking to put down some hurt as they're up to 2 elims. Papara Supermassive starting to wane in their power, but they've had a good match. It's going to put them in that conversation yet again. As the bubble starts to move away, though, if the Falcons can get some headroom here, they could keep themselves feeling a little bit safer. Trying to chase. Placement points are kicking in now with 6 teams remaining as Black Esports do fall. They will go on out there towards the bottom of the tables. The placement points do add up time and time again. So the Falcons adding elims from the south side, starting to spread their influence on the south edge of this circle. Blank, they're looking to take control of the hill as well.
I think they were very much considering what was next. Southeast, that's a massive nade. It's been big nade after big nade for IDA. Falcons ladders up over towards 4th place there. Ida chasing massively.
with 79 points now on this match. They could potentially jump on up into that high 80s sort of bracket
More
with this
elims
game.
for
And
Falcons.
more elims coming through from Falcons. They confirm it. They're looking to keep this one under control. They could jump up and potentially even challenge towards that first place blank with a big match here.
Honestly, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. This is why I'm always afraid when we see the Sandhawks on the last day, is that it can shake up the ranking something horrid.
And Ida can be that earthquake in themselves as well. They could be up there taking away one of those top 4 spots. Fenerbahce right now, the final hurdle for these two teams to try and push on through. Not too much hope for Fenerbahce to get that resurgence, but there will be a barrier. A blockade in the way of the Falcons. A 2-2 split, though, this late, with Falcons bearing down upon you. A third-party potential from Ida. I'm not sure how this is going to work out for Fenerbahce. Maybe try and bolster this position.
Narvala with a Navy zone tosses it over the top. There are shots going back towards his way. No damage done. Another one sent through. It's just little chip damage here and there, and Narvala has yet to find anything too large off the back of this. But they are definitely putting the hurt over towards Fenerbahce. However, on the other side of things, Ida seems to be more preoccupied with the Falcons, which is not good for them. 9 elims so far. A big run out from the up-and-comers.
And there's the spray down. Narvalo trying to clip them. The circle goes up to the north, over towards Ida to potentially put them in the money. Redox down next as Fenerbahce's two-man forward hold is working out. Ralph trying to roll over, but Ida have the angles. They're suppressed behind the rock, and Narvalo goes down. Ralph falls, and the Falcons out in third. It's up to Ida now to try and chase them down. Third place and 6 elims is good, and that may see them okay. We'll see if they're able to chase the Boars in the next match, but Ida wanting to jump up there as well with Fenerbahce on 4. It's a 3 versus 4 for Ida to keep control.
This has been a crazy run coming through from Ida so far. A nade towards the front line. Solke finds the first, the experience taking on the rookies here.
Solke
Aaron with another nade over the top. Solke's down. This is insane. The ordnance has been unbelievable coming through from Ida this game.
Rita still not flushed out. That forward position from Solke getting knocked was huge for Ida. The circle will start to close now. Darkin and Eren looking to take the 2 versus 3. Res potential there as well coming on through for Ida, but they're giving the time for Fenerbahce to do the same. Bring themselves back up to 4. Eren, no nades, no utility here, only the 1 first aid. The Stims healing them up over time, and Fenerbahce are biding their time. I don't think there's any nades left on either side. They would have been sent forwards. Savian with the spray down. Eren's close by enough to go for the retribution shots, but will not take them just yet. Biding his time, and it goes over to Solke. A second, and it's Eren for more. With the shotgun, he's brought it into a 2 versus 2. He's done his job. It's up to his teammates now. Darkin and Rita rolling on forwards. Razy wants the heal. The helmet blasted away for Simple Novak. He turns the corner, and they're into the grinder. Razy goes for more, and Rita now surging around the side of the rock, has control, and it's Ida all the way. Fenerbahce fall. They want one of these top 4 spots. Ida find the chicken dinner.
It's a disgustingly potent game, and Eren opens it up for Ida in the final moments. A desperate gambit through the grass, and the snake bites, and the venom is applied. Fenerbahce go down. From way back when, watching Fenerbahce in these final moments where they're able to spray down teams like Papara Supermassive, it will be Ida to show them something different, sending that flex angle out. And he did so much damage. It wasn't just the 2 knocks. He got the 2 players in the back down to half HP, which opened things up for a victory. An incredible game. But that sees Ida so far up the rankings.
They are going to be in with a chance here, Blank. We were talking about them during those knockout stages. They placed 3rd place back in the league stage. They didn't do quite so well over in the knockout stages, coming in 11th, but they have found their feet here in the first match. They have been able to keep up the pace. They put themselves in that position. They've built their foundation over the first 2 days, and now they can do it potentially all here and now. The Falcons as well, 3rd place, 6 elims. That is going to net them, I think, 11 points on the match, which is going to push them, I think, over the top of maybe even S2G and in towards 2nd place.
Honestly, it's an unbelievable game. It's an unbelievable game from Ida in those final moments. This is what we were talking at the start of the day there. And even we saw the team graphics come through, the 4 teams that could be potentially getting in. And I was saying that it really isn't just those 4 squads. It really is not. There are so many teams that are so hungry to bite down on that trophy. They're looking for it, and no one's out quite yet. I'm very, very excited to see where the overalls lie after that game. So interested to see who's been knocked out and who hasn't. And for the Boars in particular, it all comes from that careless capability from that team coming back to finally kick them in the arse, basically. I was very, very worried for them. I felt like, they couldn't hold up, though, right? They couldn't hold back. They couldn't pull those punches. They had to continue with that aggressive gameplay. It's what got them towards that top side. But carelessness cannot be forgiven.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they just didn't scout right on that bridge crossing. When you know that there's a team going to be playing on the other side of that bridge, you know that they could potentially be guarding you out. They just didn't even take a look, right? If you have one player over towards Hartin, one player maybe look down to the south, you take maybe 30 seconds, right, to just have a little look. You see some vehicles, maybe. You see a position, you're like, oh, there's some dudes there. Maybe we shouldn't just, like, all 3 of us in the same vehicle roll straight at them. That'd probably be a good idea, right?
Yeah, again, it's just so many times here where we're seeing the Bulls just make some strange and odd plays that shouldn't really work out, but they do, because the teams in this lobby are just unprepared for them or don't expect them to happen. I think it has been that unexpected factor coming through a lot of times for these other teams, that they just don't worry about a squad potentially also racing over towards a position from outside the map, because people don't do that. It's not the done type of gameplay. Let's take a look at the final blow here, because it was a very, very intense final moment.
Yeah, big up to Aaron there, finding those 2 on the back line. He passed the baton over. He goes down, but as I said, like, his job was done at that point. Darkin able to keep control of his side long enough, and Rita really able just to push that one home. It was right down to the wire, though, but in a 3 versus 4 in the final circles, fantastic stuff. Rita gets the MVP. I feel like it was very much a team effort, but he definitely deserves this accolade. 7 elims, 917 damage. They did do more than just that fight during that game as well. They had a nice rotation to get ahead of Fenerbahce, actually, in towards the circle earlier on in the game. So it wasn't just a case of winning that final fight. They've played out through the entirety of that game really nice and strong.
I'll feel very smug after this ends if they did finish the game on 16 eliminations, as I was talking about earlier, that there is a huge potential for a 26-point game on Sandhawk. And again, this is what I'm talking about. It does just send you flying up the rankings. For the boys on Rita, on Ida overall, like they were a little bit further behind, but after yesterday's games, they had shunted themselves further and further up the tables into striking distance. It wasn't the distance that I expected for them to cover in this one map here, but yeah, they're right up there with the best of them now, and I'm so happy to see it. Again, I've talked about the amount of times I have a lot of respect for this team. I think it's a very good squad, not filled with, I would say, rookie. They are sort of rookies from on a team namesake level, but I do think that they've had a lot of experience on different teams, just flitting here and there, but they've all got a lot of potential in them, and finally that potential is being realized here at the PMSL EU.
Yeah, I mean, some of their players have been at the global stage before, right? You've seen, I think it was Aaron playing over towards Zeus, I think, in previous year's games and things like that. They do have some name clout to them, but you're right. I don't think they've ever been really considered as a global level team. So to put these pieces together to make sure that puzzle went so well, I think it was fantastic, phenomenal. 8 knockouts for Aaron, by the way. Just to draw your attention to that, 977 damage. Sure, Rita got MVP, but I feel like Aaron definitely deserves some credit, especially in those final moments, right? He bided his time. He struck at the perfect moment as well. Without him, they don't get this chicken dinner. They don't get those extra 4 points. But as it stands, they get 14 eliminations and a chicken dinner. That's 24 points, right, to push them up the tables. They're going to have a pretty good time with that. That puts them on 94 at the end of this game.
Yeah, it is an unbelievable amount of points they're able to get. 24, not quite the 26, but we're in the realm of it. That will really, really send them far up the leaderboards. And we'll wait to see what the overall rankings show us, because I think it did very much a James Bond scenario. The leaderboards were shaken, not stirred during this match, because it was just a fantastic run for a lot of our squads. I think the Falcons could have done a lot better, but again, it is just that classic scenario for the Falcons where it's just those last minute jitters from them in those circles where they get a little bit overwhelmed by everything that's occurring.
We are going to start to increase our field of teams that could potentially jump up over that smash boundary as well, Blank, with Ida ending up on 94, with Team Falcons somewhere around that as well, actually. We're going to have, I think, now up to potentially 5 teams that could cross that boundary in the next match, and we'll have to wait and see if anyone is able to do it. Multiple of them could do it in the same match, remember. Regnum Kaya do not need that many. I think they're able to get 1 point during that match, meaning that they are now 9 points shy. And a 9-point game, that's actually not too tall of an order for a team like Regnum Kaya, right? You can find that even if you're not getting towards those final circles.
Absolutely. Now, the weird thing from these games, though, from what we've seen so far, is that it really has created a weird scenario where I don't expect to be a match 3 smash, but match 4 and 5 look terrifying. With the amount of teams that were further down the tables that got 12, 11, 9, 9, 8, and 6. Like, it's a crazy amount of points for a lot of our teams further down the tables to jump up. You suddenly have this weird scenario going into match 2 where there is a lot of squads that can get over that smash point ruling and actually get themselves in a position where on another win, that could be the one.
Definitely could be. It definitely could be. I mean, I'm just looking at these points totals right now, and it is a lot of the teams towards the bottom of the tables that were earning there. Boars, BWNRX, Regnum Kaya, Fireflux as well. We haven't really talked about them towards the end of yesterday, but they continue their descent down the tables. And look at that. Ida in second place on a tiebreaker with the Falcons now, 94 points apiece, and the Boars in 5th. Kara languishing on 89 points on what should have been a really powerful circle for them as well. That's got to sting.
It really does. It absolutely does. I think Kara could have done a lot more in that match, but 89, 92, 93, 94, 94, 104. Like, this is a wild ranking where there are 6 teams now coming into match 2 that have that potential to jump up. For BWNRX, though, we come back to what we were talking about yesterday, is that they're a team that you can look at with bright-eyed, and then the next game you can look on in disappointment and horror of what's happening for this squad. It's really quite stressful. Make sure you know that Ida is not in 9th place there.
No, they are in 2nd place, which is much better than 9th place, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, I will have to double check that, check my sources. Yeah, it has been a big turn up, and that's what we were talking about, right? All the way down to 10th place. I mean, 9th place was a tiebreaker between Ida and K1 on 70 points at the start of this. After one match, they're in 2nd place, which is absolutely insane coming into this one. And we did, of course, expand the number of teams that could potentially get a big game in this next match. On Erangel as well, which of course, removes a little bit of the Sandhawk chaos, could potentially be pretty big for now up to 5 teams to cross that smash boundary. I'm excited for it. I feel like we're going to see a team cross in the next match. I've got that sort of vibe. I'm getting the feelings, the gut feelings coming on through. Feeling pretty good for that. So maybe we'll see a big one.
I mean, for Regnum Kai, there was a pretty clear-cut goal for them there, but I do think that, the easier the goal sometimes, the harder it is to achieve it here in PUBG Mobile. When you only need 10 points, that's a daunting task, because like suddenly you're thinking about whether we should reduce our point scoring, whether we should reduce the amount of eliminations again. We just don't know. Anyway, we're going to head back over to the stage with Billy G as well as Adam Savage.
Bizdeyiz, tamam. Selamlar tekrar, hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Evlerinde izleyenler ve salonda izleyenler. Bugün çok önemli 2 misafirimiz var. Çok özel 2 misafirimiz var. PUBG Mobile yayınları yapan Umut ve e-sporcusu Muhammed bizlerle. Öncelikle çok güçlü alkışlar alalım 2 yayıncı ve sporcu PUBG Mobile aşığı için.
Yes, indeed. We are delighted. We're joined by Umut and Mohammed here to talk all about accessibility within PUBG Mobile. Umut, how did you first get into PUBG Mobile? What really drew you into the game?
Şimdi ilk sorumuz Umut Bey size. PUBG Mobile'la ilk ne zaman başladınız, nasıl başladınız ve neden PUBG Mobile oynamaya başladınız?
Ya ben PUBG Mobile'a 5 yıl önce ilk burada hatta aynı sahneyi paylaştığım arkadaşlarımdan, videolarından görerek başladım. Bir heyecanlandım o oyunu görünce, böyle bir dedim ki ben de oynamalıyım. Daha sonra evde oynarken kendi çabalarımla biraz başta zor oldu ama normal bir oyuncu kadar oynayabildiğimi fark ettim. Tuş kombinasyonunu değiştirerek, ayağımın altına 2 tane pedal atarak, ki çoğu kişi bilir bunu. Normal insan kadar oynayabildiğimi fark ettiğimde dedim ki benim bunu insanlara göstermem lazım. Ya ben yapabiliyorsam benim gibi belki yüzlerce, binlerce özel kardeşimiz de bu oyunla oynayabilir ve benim gibi keyif alabilir diye düşündüm. Ben onlara öncü olmaya çalıştım, gayret ettim. Ve bugün de bunu başardığımı düşünüyorum ki 50 tane özel kardeşle beraberiz, bir WhatsApp grubunda etkileşim içerisindeyiz. Onlara yardım etmeye çalışıyoruz. İnşallah daha da böyle yüzlerce insana ulaşmaya gayret göstereceğiz.
İnşallah. So Umut started the game 5 years ago. It was like he realized that when he started playing that he can play that pretty well. And then he got his own pedals. He was using it while playing it. And now he has like a WhatsApp group with like 50 people, 50 disabled people, and they're playing it together. Every game they're playing it together. And he says that if I can make it happen, if I can play PUBG Mobile, that everybody can play it.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's amazing. 50 people. Can I join? No. Maybe. You've also got, what's the Mohammed, if I ask you as well here, thank you very much. What's the biggest impact, Mohammed, that gaming has had on your life personally? What's the biggest impact?
Muhammed tekrar hoş geldin. Şimdi sana sorumuz şu. PUBG Mobile oynaman, ya da oyun oynaman da diyebiliriz. Hayatına nasıl bir etkisi oldu? Olumlu ve olumsuz anlamda söyleyebilirsin ama bence genellikle olumlu olmuştur.
Ya PUBG Mobile'i ilkten böyle yargılı bir şekilde oynamaya başladım. Ben bunu yapabilir miyim, becerebilir miyim diyerekten başladım. Ama ilerledikçe tabii eller alışıyor. Kafada kuruyorsun zaten o şeyleri. İlk başladığımda tabii taktikleri çözemedim. İlkten kaç kere sildiğim, geri yüklediğim oldu. 5 yıla yakın oyundayım ve şu an bu düzeye gelmek gurur verici benim için. Yani olumlu tarafı da oldu, olumsuz tarafı da oldu, pes ettiğim tarafı da oldu ama pes etmemek, tabii en iyi yerlere gelmek daha güzel.
Mücadele etmeye devam ettin yani. Bravo, vallahi helal olsun. Like he's saying that it was like positive moments that affected his life, negative moments like, but he was like skeptical a bit. That he was thinking that if I be able to play this game, like if I ever be good at it. But now he's one of the greatest, I think.
Yeah.
And one time, like he was like decided to quit playing the game, but he didn't. And thank God he didn't quit playing. And yeah, that's it. He's very happy, but mostly it's a positive thing that he's playing PUBG Mobile.
Absolutely. Let me ask as well. We heard from Umut about some of the
Ben tutuyorum.
about some of the friendships as well, Mohammed. Some of the friendships that Umut has made along the way. What about the friendships that you've made personally as well, joining in the community and playing PUBG Mobile? Tell us about the friendships you've made too.
Şimdi Umut abimden duydum, bir sürü çevresi varmış, WhatsApp grupları falan da. Senin de PUBG Mobile aracılığıyla böyle kurduğun arkadaşlık oldu mu? Oyunda tanışıp dışarıda görüştüğün ya da başka oyunlar oynadığın oldu mu hiç?
Tabii ilk Umut abiyle başladım ben WhatsApp'a girmeye. Şu 2023'te PMGC oldu. Orada bayağı kişiyle tanıştım ve şu an üstümde olan da forma Eagle formasıyla aynı gruptayım. Yani dostluk demeyeyim de bildiğim bir ailem oldu. Buradan Ahmet abime selam söyleyeyim. Ahmet abim sayesinde yani buralara geldim. Onun temsiliyle buradayım zaten. Bu kadar değil.
Ahmet abi Eagle diye bir klanımız var bizim. O klanımızın başındaki adam çok sahip çıkıyordu. O çevre yaptı.
So he first met Umut, of course. First met Umut, but he's saying that I didn't have any friends by playing the game. He said I had family. He said I had a family playing PUBG Mobile, and also he's a part of Eagle Esports, and he wants to say thank you to Mr. Ahmet through
awesome.
Eagle Sports and being a part of the organization.
Very cool, very cool. Last question for Umut. One more question for you. If someone watching this stream has a disability of any sort and is unsure about gaming, what would you say to them?
The thing is, we talked about Umut. Can we make that the fourth and the fifth question as one?
Of course.
Let's make it that way. You want to ask the fifth question
Sure.
too?
Is there a message that you want to send to the wider gaming community?
Şimdi dördüncü ve beşinci soruyu birleştirmek istedik biz aslında. Yayınımızı takip eden özel gereksinimli izleyicilerimize ne söylemek istersiniz diye bir sorumuz vardı. Bir de pubgmobile topluluğuna söylemek istediğiniz şey vardı. Aslında birbirinden çok da ayrı bir şey değil. Yani sen büyük ihtimalle 1v1 atsak ben seni daha görmeden vuracağın için az önce söyledim bana çünkü. Hatta Umut Bey'in şöyle bir iddiası var. Burada kaç bin kişi var bilmiyorum ama 4-5 tanesi beni yenebilir Ancere'de 1v1'de. O yüzden Umut Bey'e bir meydan okuma olabilir. O yüzden sorumuz şu abi. PUBG komünitesine sizin gibi çok özel, yetenekli arkadaşlara ne söylemek istersiniz?
Ya açıkçası öncelikle özel kardeşlerime ben buradan şunu söylemek istiyorum. Ben başardıysam onlar da başarabilir. Hani benim bir özel durumum var deyip de bir kenarda sıkıcı bir hayat yaşayacağına biraz çaba, biraz mücadele gösterip daha keyifli, daha da umutlu yaşama tutunabilirler diye düşünüyorum. Bu PUBG Mobile değil, diğer her şey için geçerli. Mücadeleyi, savaşmayı bırakmamaları gerekiyor. Ben öyle yaptım. Genel olarak PUBG Mobile seyircisinden de tek dileğim şu. Benim yanımda olmaları. Çünkü onların benim yanımda olmalarıyla ben özel çocuklara ulaşıyorum. Hepsini de çok seviyorum. Tüm takımlarımıza da başarılar diliyorum.
Like he's saying that don't quit, don't stop doing what you do. Like keep playing games, but not only the games. Like hold, like keep yourself tight in your life.
Yeah.
Just have fun. And he especially asked that the fans watching at home or in the arena, please let him help growing this community. Because bir de şeyi sorayım. I have another question to ask. How can they reach you? If someone here or at home that doesn't know anything about you, Umut, how can they reach you? And the Turkish version is, sana nasıl ulaşsınlar abi? Belki burada bir kişi seni bilmiyordur. Ya da ne bileyim evinde izleyen birisi seni bilmiyordur. Belki bir sorunu vardır, sıkıntısı var. Belki hiçbir şey yoktur, seninle tanışmak istiyoruz. Sana nasıl ulaşabilir? Muhammed sana nasıl ulaşabilir?
Bana nasıl ulaşabilirler? Normalde benim nickname diye görüyor. Herkes nickname gibi düşünüyor. Ben Umut Kardeş olarak bütün platformlardan ulaşabilirler. Ama ismim Umut, soyadım da Kardeş. Bu şekilde ulaşabilirler.
Bana anca TikTok'tan ulaşabilirler. Orada da ismim Speed zaten. Evet, Speed.
Tamam. We have their contacts. Ben Umut Kardeş. TikTok'ta Speed. İki arkadaşımıza da bir kez daha, kardeşime ve abime herhalde, bilmiyorum kaç yaşındasın? 38. Vallahi 24 duruyorsun ha. Benden daha genç duruyorsun. İkisine de bir kez daha çok güçlü bir alkış alalım. Teşekkür alkış alalım. Başarılar dileyelim. Takımlara da maçlar için başarılar. Şimdi analize geçebiliriz.
Before we make a move as well, for you both, Kelme have kindly provided a special gift for you both as well to take away with you. Mohammed, I'll leave that with you there. So that's there for you. And there's one also there for you as well, Umut. It's been fabulous talking to you both. Enjoy the rest of the competition. Thank you for chatting to us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you both very much. And back to our wonderful analysts.
Analize geçmeden unutmuştum ben. Kelme'ye teşekkür edelim hediyeleri için.
There we go. You know what? You know what really sucks is that he's a Besiktas fan, right? He's wearing that Besiktas jersey. He's just having a really bad time.
Yeah, Getzo's just not here.
They didn't make it. They didn't play well enough over the course of it. I'm sure he's got plenty of teams to support, though. There's plenty of other teams and other very, very strong teams, especially when you look at the Turkish region coming into this final.
Oh, I'm happy that, honestly, I'm happy that you stick by your team through thick and thin, and it's a great message that they give us, that you should just enjoy yourself throughout your life, and if you do want to get more involved in that community, obviously they did get the contacts given out there, and you can get in touch and play alongside of them, because there is a lot of accessibility options in game with PUBG Mobile. It's a fantastic game to play around the world with every community and everyone. So PUBG Mobile, it's not just for some, it's for all, as we head in towards our second match of the day coming up over on Erangel.
Yeah, and of course, we've seen some developments over on Erangel. Obviously, yesterday, the biggest adjustment of note was the cessation of the hot drop in Pachinki, right? We saw Papara Supermassive finally give up the ghost on that one when the Falcons did kind of take it away from them in the first day of the finals here. They did give up. And immediately upon leaving, they found a chicken dinner with 12 elims. That was sort of the start of their turnaround. They did have a pretty decent game at the start just now as well. And I don't think we talked too much about them in the overalls, obviously overshadowed by Ida's progress up the tables, by the Falcons doing very well as well. But Papara Supermassive did get a decent chunk of points there to keep up pace on the tables. So are they going to find similar success here? Because they have now dropped, I think, in at least 2 different locations on Erangel, right? They dropped towards South Georgia. They had a hot drop with Bra, and they dropped towards the military island as well in one of our other Erangels.
Yeah, there was definitely a case last game where we saw, even just on the match rankings, there was a huge amount of points just over on that left-hand side where it wasn't just Ida getting all the points off that one. There was a lot of other teams were able to profit in a big way off that last game. It does mean there was a lot of teams over towards the top side who are a little bit unsafe here. Again, no smash ruling going over towards match 2, but a big possibility for a lot of teams to get over the smash point goal here. So I'm very, very excited to see how that one does go down. Again, for Regnum Kaya, I think it is a case of just being in their own heads about it all. I think from Painan, they could have easily made a decent rotate over towards that position if they were a little bit calmer on their approach. I think what they tried to do a little bit too early into that match is get a very central position and just play from there. I think they can play a more edge gameplay. Again, it's just getting those 9 points, or again just staying ahead. There's a lot on their minds here, but I do think just in terms of the smash ruling, I think they're still far ahead enough, and with the amount of teams going down over towards the top side of the lobby, I think getting a comfortable 9 points here, just getting yourself in towards smash ruling, and then worrying about getting more points later, so that if it does go to game 6, you are still in first place. That's when you need to worry about that.
Yeah, I think that yeah, you do want to be trying to chase down that smash ruling, but I think that what I said earlier still does hold true, right? You can get in your own head about things like this, and when you're in first place, the threat of a smash ruling really isn't as bad, right, as if you're in fourth place. As we head on over towards the overalls to take a look at where everyone stands, right? So even for Regnum Kaya, right, if they're not able to get to 113 points in this match, someone else does. It's not going to be the end of the world. They'll be in second place, right? And then if there's a smash victory, it's not like they drop too far down. So I think that the threat of a smash ruling at the moment isn't super big. It's when it starts to get to more than 4 teams with being in that smash rule zone that things start to get a little bit dicey.
Yeah, that's when it's scary. But I mean, just get yourself over that line for now and then worry about getting more later. Here is our second page we talked about earlier with BWNRX there with 77 points. They dropped down a lot. It was a disastrous game there for them on Sandhawk and really hurt them getting over towards the top side of the tables with so many other teams towards that first page, profiting a lot to keep themselves ahead. So yeah, very, very difficult stuff coming through there. TTQ off that game, by the way, got up to 59. It is a little bit far out, though, for that squad.
Yeah, it was a decent game. They had some obviously the solid fight over towards Boars, although to be fair, they were kind of handed that one on a silver platter, apple in the mouth of the boar, and they were able to chow on down. And again, we just head over to the crowds, and it's S2G all the way, but we haven't really seen too much from them at the end of like the last 5 matches of yesterday. The first match today, they haven't really been able to keep up the pace, and hopefully the fans can spur them on to great heights.
Absolutely. I think that for the fans to keep on going here, you really do want to see S2G not performing like that at the top side of the tables, John. It is a tough one. Definitely a tough one.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a little pause here whilst we wait for the lobby to get ready. We'll be coming back with the first Sandhawk. The first Erangel. My mistake, sorry. First Erangel. And we are back for match number 2 here in the final day. It's going to be a contest to see who can pass that smash boundary and who can jump up into the top 4. Our playing path here on Erangel looks fairly southern leaning, Blank, so we're going to start from the southeast side, from around Novo up towards the west coast. Going to make it a little bit hard to get up to areas like Saverni, but we'll see where our teams drop. And most of all, I'm interested in when Papara Supermassive are going to be dropping this time around. Are they going to go to South George? Are they going to go to Sosnovka? Both seem accessible, so they could both potentially be where they target. Or could be somewhere completely new.
It's a slightly weird one for Papara Supermassive because of a lot of the playing paths that we've seen. They've been able to circumvent over towards Bra, but here both will be dropping out roughly the same time over towards South George here, and Bra really didn't want to get too involved over towards you. You can see them actually dropping out over towards Milta Power right now. Are Bra leaving Papara Supermassive likely to just have South George all to themselves. So yeah, for Bra, going to do something slightly different here for themselves. Over towards Chinky for the Falcons. And you can see there, Papara Supermassive dropping out a little bit later. So a clean start for them on this game as they look to head further up the leaderboard. And a very northern shift on the circle here, John, on a very south plane. A horrid start for a lot of teams, and they will have to get a move on. Specifically for S2G, once again, will struggle off the back of this, but Regnum Kai, on the other hand, having a great time over in Rozhok.
Well, let's scrap over towards Melter Power. I think we've seen our first casualty there between Black Esports and Bra. I believe it was Black Esports who have taken a knock and a flush, so they will be going down to play as just 3 players. Just a hot drop there, both seemingly competing for a vehicle or maybe a building, trying to grab something, but Zeptimus was that casualty. Aussie looking for a little bit of retribution, potentially, might be able to spot Swash, but I think, able to get out of there nice and quickly, should be fairly safe.
Black Esports losing 1 on Zeptimus. Not great. But you're right, they will be able to get out of there. All things considered, I think for Black Esports, they're not really a team that we're having too many conversations about here. Random Kaya are moving, but they just end up over towards Rozhok anyway, so it's not too much of a big deal for them. I think they were just trying to get vehicles on board. Again, that should be first priority here on this type of map where you want to move over towards that north side as quick as possible. The Fireflux currently in apartments, and Papara Supermassive Kamikaze gets himself over towards South George. There is a reason behind that as well. Now, Papara Supermassive do invest in the glider to get over towards South George very quickly. Usually you wouldn't want to risk something like that. But I think for Papara Supermassive, they're thinking to themselves, we just need to get over towards South George as quickly as possible. We might not have seen shoots, but Bra could still be here. What they don't know is Bra's currently headed all the way over towards the eastern side of the map, unless they were paying attention to the Elim feed, in which case they should have seen over towards Black Esports. But yeah, Papara Supermassive just trying to get control of crates as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they should have been paying attention. I think he was actually taking the glider from South George to North George to get up on across the river. Obviously, with the circle as it is, going to North George kind of feels like a no-brainer at this point for Papara Supermassive. Grab some loot, and then you can double down over on the North George loot as well and have a good time over there. Taking a look at the overall standings, it will, of course, be Black Esports who have taken the only casualties so far. And we'll see how it goes from there. Papara Supermassive up on 79 points, with the bubble being on 93. That is a closable gap. S2G right on that boundary.
Yeah, just 14 points away. And again, it's a bit weird for us seeing that S2G is in 4th place. It's the longest time in a while we've really seen S2G in any kind of danger throughout this tournament. I think they've looked good throughout the entirety of the thing. But it always comes down to that final day, John. It will be a very, very sad day if we do end up and S2G is not in that top 4, because I think as a PMSL EU candidate, they have a lot to give over in EWC.
Definitely do. They've got some chops to them. K1, though, being shut down again early with another knock sent their way. They were only able to get 1 point in the last match, and Foot looking to slow them down here as well. That is unfortunate. I just don't, yeah, there's no way that they can get this res. They're already on the hunt for the flush. So K1 having to play without Easy for Bad Boy, who is, I think, fairly inarguably the best player on their roster right now for K1. He has certainly been the heaviest in terms of fragging potential. So best comes with an asterisk of, sure, just purely on the stats, but certainly a massive asset to the team now wiped out for them.
Yeah. I do want to just quickly come back to S2G as well, because if they drop out and a smash ruling occurs, the issue I have is, a lot of fans will be very disappointed not to see S2G go through. But I also am concerned because I do think that, if this went the full 6 matches and we didn't get a smash ruling, I'm pretty certain that S2G should make it in to EWC just off the back of that. But yeah, it creates one of those scenarios where even though S2G has had the best tournament so far out of any team, because of smash ruling, it could come down to a case where S2G isn't given that time to stay within the top 4.
I mean, it is so close, though, between 2nd through 5th, right? 94 to 92 points. It is very closely fought right now, with teams jumping up and being able to play catch-up towards those top 4 spots. I'm also interested in what Boars are going to be able to do. Obviously getting cut down very, very early in that last match, but they make their way up fast to Severny, and with the circle being all the way up on the north, they're going to be in with a shot at doing pretty well this match, so hopefully looking to turn things around. And all 5 of these top 5 teams are within range of that smash boundary, right? You're talking about 10 Elim chicken dinners, 11 Elim chicken dinners for Boars, and it will be the case that you're over that smash point boundary.
Boars, again, they're not really changing their strategy all that much here. For them, their strategy relies on being first always. So they get over towards Severny. There is a player very close by here, takes initial shots, and that's bad. Not getting the initial knock over towards Striker. Reveals your location. Ooh. I think I saw Kara off in the distance there. Yeah, so they're getting sandwiched.
The Boars needed to be very careful as Kara sail over on the north coast. I wonder if they're going to stop off, if they're going to keep going. It seems like they do want to stop here. They have found a player on Boars, and just behind them on the tables, they're going to be very happy about finding that pickup. Lewis able to step out, and Boars lose a player early on the Severny crunch. The rest of Kara seemingly looking to drop on in as well. They're getting pushed out, and I don't know if they have the vehicles in place to be able to get out of this effectively.
It's one of those tough scenarios for Boars where I do think that in this scenario you hold on the north side and you don't have outposts down towards the south. You accept the fact that at some point a team is going to make their way over here, but you cannot give up coastal control. As soon as that happens, any team's able to really put the pressure over towards you. So placing yourselves over towards the center of Severny is a very bad idea. So yeah, for Boars, it's not a fun approach now going forward, as we are going to close on our circle into zone 2 in just 5 seconds.
Kara able to rock up just in time to get that Elim. They're on 90 points blank in 6th place. So, I mean, I said it was all 5 of the top 5 that could potentially break that smash point boundary. But Kara in with a chance of doing it as well. They would need a mid-teens Elim chicken dinner to be able to jump up over there. But starting out like this, holding a coastal position, potential inroads towards a shooting range circle could be good for their points totals, especially if they're starting early.
Yeah, I mean, for Kara, it's a 24-point game. We just saw a 24-point game from Ida, so it's definitely a big possibility for them. And this one heads down towards the southeast side. Around that river, around that lake, a little bit awkward to play in. Regnum Kaya quite happy, but they are surrounded by quite a few squads. They started the game with 1 Elim, which is decent, and Ida's going to make a quick rotate down towards that south side, and Boars are left behind in Severny.
They are going to be left alone, left to their own devices for the time being. Have to wait and see who's going to join them. Kara actually sent out very, very quickly from their location on the north side of Severny. They went back down towards the east. They're now scrapping it out for a little compound there. Regnum Kaya up on the hillside with Barsai actually taking shots out their way. I mean, this was the standoff that we saw last match as well over on the northeast point of Quarry between Regnum Kaya and with Barsai.
Quantum finding Kara. Poses down. There is quite a bit of damage going through over towards Kara, and remember, this is an important game for them. A great nade from CEO later will take down Rolex. Step out to the side. This is messy from both players.
And he's on for more. Lewis looks for a second around the corner, has a teammate hop out wide, and he stays alive in the courtyard. Just one player now for Bra to stay alive. They've lost Poser, but they're picking up points left and right here, Blank. 2 elims already for Bra after they were able to pick one up on the hot drop, but now it's just Swash on the inside, looking for that first aid. Marceau, I think he knows which shack he's in. Doesn't have any nades, though, to try and finish him off.
Yeah, very, very messy from both squads there, actually. I think it is just Bra is not as proficient as a lot of other players inside these squads, inside this lobby.
Kaya.
Kaya do find one over towards IDA. Now looking to send a nade in over the top here, John.
They've already got 1 elim on the match as well, Blank. They're now, what is that, 8 points shy of that smash point barrier. They got a knock onto Ida, but that does get rezzed up. Another nade sent in by Loxy. Doesn't really catch anything there. So they'll have to hold on this compound, but it is a strong position for Regnum Kaya. A tight 2-2 split right now for them. And they have that high ground position. They're counterpointing it with that building as well. Loxy still playing in that valley, but this is a really strong position for them.
Yeah, they do have a good hold here. Regnum Kaya, it's fairly central as well, and depending on where the circle heads next, we will see how they want to play off the back of it. It heads back down towards Rozhok. Now, this is a very difficult decision for a lot of our teams, and a tough break here for Regnum Kaya, considering they just came from Rozhok as well. And there is a lot of ground held down towards that south side too, so this is very undecided at the moment, John.
Oh, Falcons losing their north point is really, really nasty. They have such good control towards the south edge on that river crossing towards Rozhok. But now if they want to get all 4 players up and alive, I don't think it's going to be possible. Yeah, Ida are just going to run that point down. And now they have to hold it as 3. Regnum Kaya biding their time. They've spotted BW next Ruya right next door. And they'll see if they can find more shots here where Ida have just vacated.
Carly out there in the smoke, just hidden by that, away from the boys. Okay, one. Eliminate across. That's Kavik there. Fenerbahce Solke around the corner. Head in versus S2G.
Finding the first. It's not without cost, though, because Simple Domac is down and an aid over from Sara keeps them in. S2G down in 5th place now with Kara getting the points that they have done, so they need to win this fight to keep up pace. But Icy falls next, and it's Fenerbahce to be able to take this fight and take it well. Savian strafing across. It's all up to Sara now. 3 players alive total, but he's the only one standing in this scrap, and he will be able, not be able rather, to hold the corner down. It's the end of S2G in this match, and in 5th place, that is a real sting in the tail.
Very much so for S2G. Again, we talked about them dropping out here, John, which is unfun, not good for them. K1 across the way, Slonic as well as Kavik holding on the bridge. Never a fun position to be in. On Regnum Kaya, this is where it gets nasty. Barsai off of the distance. They have been cut between a lot of squads. BW next through is still behind them as well. They have to be very careful. Remember, it's 8 points that they are looking for now on this match.
It's all that they need. 8 more points. Look to ladder up on these placements. BW and RX have been fading a little bit. Sure, they had some consistently middling performances yesterday. High single digits, which is great in terms of jumping up the tables, but the overall performance not as strong as maybe they would like. Barsai as well out to the east side of this fight. Thunder Talk behind Foot. Papra Supermassive all still on the northern shore. But this circle screams Falcons right now. They are on 3 players alive. They lost Redox up on the northern shore, but they have that warehouse. They have that compound on the northern edge. What can they do with it here?
It's hard. It's very, very hard for the Falcons going forward. Obviously, losing 1 player does diminish your resources to work in a cramped area like that on the map. For Regnum Kaya, though, really are kicking themselves here in terms of having to play on that north side as we're heading down towards the south, where they just were earlier. I still think they made the right decision, but a couple of teams holding them in place, locking them down with net and key. We'll see how they want to play out the back of this one. Again, 8 points. That's all it takes. All it takes.
They're still holding up. Still holding face, and with 4 players alive, you've got to think Regnum Kai is going to have something to do with it, although they did take a little bit of damage there. He should be able to keep this one under control. The next circle does have a slice of the northern shore inside, which means that they can be a little bit slower on this fight than otherwise they might need to be. On the northern edge, as teams start to get across the river, it's very likely to be ending up on the south side now. The Saltgate goes for a long-range shot out towards the southeast side. I think that's over towards Kara, actually, over the Roshok Hill.
I think the difficulty for most squads here right now is the fact that Ida as well as K1 are currently holding the bridge, which is one of the main crossing points. Vapor Supermassive, they make an early rotate off towards that western side to go across the center island, which is a smart decision to go for. But there's a lot of squads on the north side, if for instance Regnum Kaya as well as BW next Ruya, who just can't make that play because they'd be exposed as soon as they made that rotate.
Ida with 2 of their players still alive. They got 4 points.
That's bold.
Turn themselves up. A roll over the top from bar side.
That's very bold.
How have they managed to get all the way through here? There's like 3 teams around this area, not to mention the Falcons, but they're playing the building. They're not playing in that warehouse, so no direct crash on the roll-up. But Barsai now just have a prime position in this next circle.
Actually hilarious how that works. I think it's because so many teams were locked in combat with one another, because it's a 3-way fight going on here between CTQ, Ida, K1. And no one's prepared to take shots over towards Barsai because no one can really afford to peek their heads out here. Also, really a lot of teams over towards Roshok should have taken shots over towards Barsai as they went through. This is the freest rotate of a lifetime.
They are laughing right now. I mean, Redox going down maybe stopped the Falcons from thinking that they should hold towards this warehouse, right? They have to play as 3. They have to play a little bit more conservatively. As we tune in, though, over to the Regnum Kaya fights. They find one. Frozen goes very, very low. The first knock goes to Loxy. Frozen is down as well. These are more points that they can snaffle away, add to their tally. They're able to light it up, and BWNRX are crumbling in the face of it. They've already got that forward position, and they are tearing through BWNRX. Kakali hiding will go down, and that will be the end of them. And 3 points more earned for Regnum Kaya as the Blue Zone claims that last one. 108 points. It's 5 more that they need.
Yeah, that's a really good pickup coming from Regnum Kaya. They waited BWNRX out, and they knew that that's what they had to do to make sure they could make this one happen. The question is whether they get the player back up on his feet or not. It is really down to the wire on that side of the map to make it happen, and then they need a clean contest over the other side. Kara coming up against the Falcons here. First player does go down, and they should be able to get Koa back up again, but that does invite other members into this engagement.
Narvalo running on in, looking for the rescue. Ralph is protected by the wall right now. The cross not super healthy. With Kara going down, Falcons go back up in towards 3rd place, Blank. And they can look to try and extend this lead, but they do need these reses, and they need them fast.
Guy is still finding bullets over his blast. I might before how they were finding those shots along the way.
They've got to run now, though. This is a difficult rotate for Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, it's very much towards the western side, but what is that? I mean, they'll lose Loxy and they'll be okay with it, but goodness me, Toshbik goes down too. It was a gambit that they had to go for here. 2 players alive now for Regnum Kaya. Wild goes down, leaving just now Silas, I believe.
Goodness me. They only needed 5 points here, Blank, but they didn't have an option. A nade from Thunder Talk is going to draw the attention from Ida, but there's an answer beautifully found there with a 1-2 spray down for Ida's eastern position. Darkin now down. Nades can continue to ring on through, and Kairos holds down Eren's angle. Thundertalk playing this bridge position well, allowing Regnum Karya to maybe stay alive for a little bit longer. We'll see if they can find these reses. The northern shore may be able to give them enough cover to find that res, but they still have a little way to go if they want to find the rest of this match.
Depends how much Barsai wants to flex out, right? Because it is downhill over towards that north side, and Barsai's a little bit more concerned over towards the eastern side, but I think that is Wild getting knocked, so just Silas now playing on. Despite all that, though, there is going to be a lot of squads that are getting hurt as we get further into this game, all playing around Rozok here.
Interesting. Blank. That Regnum Karya rotate, they didn't go with Silas. He actually opted to go for a swim across the river. Didn't go across the bridge like the rest of them.
Yeah, I felt like vehicles were a bit of an issue for him there. And I don't really understand it. I think that all going for a swim, probably a good idea. There is also that potential that what they were hoping for, there was a distraction play to allow Silas over towards that western side. But even so, I would probably much prefer a 2-2 split that way. You only have to sacrifice one on the bridge. And there is positioning to play there for Silas. Obviously, he's going to have to tuck right in underneath over towards Falcons now. And it's not likely he gets a high placement as well with this being an urban finish. It's so sad for Regnum Karya, considering this is their drop spot.
Especially with how close they are to that smash boundary. Right now, the only two teams who are in this game who could realistically meet it are either, maybe. I think the Falcons is probably the most likely right now, but they do still have quite a long way to go, right? They started on 94. They would need a 9 elimination chicken dinner, or I think second place with about 12, something in that sort of region, or, well, with 13 elims in a second place. With 3 players alive in an urban environment, that could be doable here, especially if they have angles over towards Papara Supermassive. Fenerbahce being across the road, though, might shake things up.
Very much not. For Ida, though, it's still 100 points on the game, not even touching on the placement points just yet about it. The Falcons quite happy with their position. Kara going down was huge for them. S2G also falling massive, and we are getting away with it now. Up to those 100-point boundary has been broken now by 2 teams. Ida as well as Regnum Karya.
Darkin spotted from across the way. I think that's Barsai actually taking shots out their way. Nico now wondering where they're shooting. What are they shooting at? Did you see Darkin is there, but he gets knocked from across the way. Thundertalk have taken a knock as well from up on the hill. And Barsai, I mean, it's still incredible, right, that they were able to make this rotate, but definitely stays peaking too long there, and they do take a knock for it. Ida, once again, going down fairly low, and Eren's going to be pushed out by the blue zone here. Thundertalk trying to roll across. They capitalize on the knock from Barsai. Actually might do pretty well on this rotate. Kairos wanted to get back up, but Eren just trying to out-heal the blue zone for a little bit longer. Maybe get another point. I don't think he's expecting too much here, but could potentially try and hang on. Points really matter at the top side of the tables, but he will fall. That'll be Ida going out.
Looking for more points is Silas, and he does do a lot of damage over towards Barsai. He's able to clean up at least 1, and that's 5 eliminations going through. Do they get across to their teammate to pick them up in time? And they do not, so they get 6 elims on the game for that.
111 points for Regnum Karya. Oh my goodness me. And he got a placement as well for Ida going down before him. He managed to get to 8th place rather than 9th. They're 2 points shy of that boundary blank, which means we're going to have to wait once more unless the Falcons can make it.
Very much does feel like we're getting to that point where this is likely to go very, very far into the matches. 5 or 6 is likely where it'll be decided. Remember, even in match 6, if we get there, it still can end on a smash ruling. And I think as the day wears on, it gets more and more stressful for a lot of our squads.
Ooh, Western shift on the circle. Goes over to the Falcons. Again, the team probably in the most important position. Papra Supermassive as well, with a big game, could jump up and start to contest. So could Fireflux, up towards the top 4 here.
Falcons would need 9 elims on the game here to make it happen. Roughly.
And the chicken dinner.
And the chicken dinner, obviously. Not just, I can count.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would need 9 elims and a chicken dinner if they wanted to get across that smash point ruling. And I think in an urban environment at 9 elims from a current 2 count, quite a big ask. I think right now that the biggest thing that they want to look for is just to get as close as possible to the smash ruling on this game.
Especially when you know that there's no one really else contesting for it. Or maybe not no, but after this one they will. That there's no one really contesting for it. Not to say that they aren't going to take those shots and try and take the fight. Farsight, after Silas inflicted so much damage towards them, really starting to falter, but that's not done just yet. More nades over towards Thundertalk. But these points towards the bottom of the tables, Blank, sort of feeling a little bit inconsequential right now. And it is actually going to be Farsight getting taken down. That's another point over to the Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons would have picked 2 up in the middle of all that. They stole one away on Fenerbahce's side and then stole one away over towards Bar's side. So, yeah, really good stuff for Falcons. And if they do want to hit that 9 elim mark and get the chicken dinner, this is what they have to do. They have to capitalize on Nox going through around the map and be very, very certain on their positioning. Navalu finding Savian. Steals it away, though.
I mean, good news for Fireflux. Trying to jump up to that 4th place. There's a knock sent over towards Ralph. Oh, dear. That is nasty. They're going to look for that res pretty desperately, you'd imagine. Barsight going on in. And again, that's another point. They make it up into 2nd place now, Blank. The placement points, just putting them over the top. They're on 99 right now, but they are unconfirmed on their placement points total, which means they are starting to rack them up. They need 4 more elims if they want to jump on up. Out of a possible, 13 other players in this lobby. They need 4 of them and this chicken dinner to be able to take it home. And the circle helps them out again. Are they on this miracle run? Are Fireflux going to be able to get across to it either?
Honestly, for the Falcons, what I will say right now is that it looked unlikely for them to get those 9 eliminations, but they were very quick on the trigger, very aware of their surroundings as well over towards Barsai, as well as TTQ. And I think TTQ might just be sacrificing themselves here for the good of the Falcons. Should be an extra 3 elims, which should sit them up towards 8 off the back of this. If they can clean this out. And the blue will push them in eventually.
The question is how many of those elims get stolen, get taken away from them, from the team on the northeast. Could be pretty tricky. Thundertalk getting a little bit more health on board Striker, sacrificing a massive amount of health there to get that vehicle out, and immediately Ko is there. Who takes the point? Who's able to get it? I think that was... Oh, no, okay, it does go to Falcons instead of that 3rd party. So they're up to 100 points now just on those elims. The placements will add in as well, as Thundertalk really suffering here, trying to crawl their way forwards with whatever smoke cover they can muster, but they just don't have the firepower to blast out. I take that back because Ko has just been knocked.
Plays on Fine Symphony, which is very frustrating, though, because you got a tag on him. They'll at least get a 1 elim off the back of it. Over towards Kairos. I think Symphony did just go down to the play zone overall, but the Falcons now up to 7. Still in a very central position with one of the big high grounds available to them too. We're into zone 9. 5 teams in zone 9. Everyone hanging on for a piece of the pie. The Falcons, though, 2 elims and a chicken dinner. It is possible. It's a big ask, and this is where the Falcons fumble.
If they get the chicken dinner, it's very, very likely that they get these 2 elims. Fenerbahce, though, looking to try and ruin this one. A nade over the top, looking for the knocks, looking for the damage. They've done a lot over towards Fenerbahce. Look how low those health bars are, but they can't hop out. They can't afford to go and deal with it. The heals can start to come through, and now it's Fenerbahce's turn. The momentum shifts, and they are going to find that first knock. A nade down from Narvalo, and they're able to get yet another point here. Narvalo playing across the way, helping out his teammates on the top floor here. Simple Domak waiting for it, and a drop down from Ralph. He falls, but so do the Falcons. The rest of them with the bullets, able to seal that 9th elim. Now they just need to go the rest of the way.
Absolutely. They can get a second place if they get 4 more elims on this game. So 13 elims and a second place would do it too. And it's looking a little bit tough for them over on that side. Wonder how much more utility they have left. Luckily, they have cleared out most of the enemy on the western edge. So it's a clear shot over towards the east for them.
Enzo actually cleaning up the backlines of Fireflux. This is good news for the Falcons. They don't need the elims necessarily. They just want to get rid of these teams around them and get that chicken dinner a little bit easier. Foot looking for the reses in the meantime. That's what Enzo's been trying to do. A nade on in. Koa doesn't have any more now. Needs to rely on the weaponry. A nade is cooking for catch, and the Falcons still yet to flex out. Ralph now charging forwards. High ground still available, and in go Foot. They are so low on these health bars. Fireflux with 2, and Ralph with a big nade. Lee needs to hit it now. Doesn't quite tag on. So unfortunate. These knocks are already coming on through, but the reses are here as well. Navallo, you need to keep your teammates safe as Ralph keeps going forwards. Shotgun in hand, spots all the players around the edge. The rest of his team now dealing with Fireflux. There's a nade. Cow amongst the pigeons, and he goes down. Can he hold this? Navallo with it all to do. Finds the first. The second is there, and they cut across, and it's all up to 1. No! A second place goes to the Falcons, and Foot take the chicken dinner.
And it's not enough. It's not enough for the Falcons. They're happy with the game, but they don't get across the smash ruling. Off the back of that, if the nade was slightly to the left there from Ralph, a different story would have been told at the end of this.
And Foot take the chicken dinner in the end of it all. That is nasty. For both of those two teams, right? Fireflux had a chance as well to jump up towards the top side of the tables. They will have got points for it as well. Falcons in a second place. They will be right on the doorstep. And to be fair, they will have secured themselves a lot more towards the top side as well. A lot more out of danger. And again, this next match now could put so many teams over into that smash ruling category.
It absolutely could. I think that we're going to get into match 4 and it's going to be very hectic. But this next match over in Erangel is going to be the big one. And then we're over towards the dusty dunes of Miramar for our 5th and 6th match of the day, where things get very, very tense. Again, super stressful stuff. You would like to get a smash ruling over on Erangel as well, because it is a lot more fair. You can make a lot more deterministic movements on the map. But right now, what a way to set ourselves up for match 3. Match 3 is just going to all be about getting into that smash zone now for these squads. There are multiple that can do it. There's multiple that can get over towards that side of things. But no one's there yet.
I'm just thinking, how many elims did the Falcons get in that
Not
final
enough.
moment? If they got the 3 onto Fireflux and 1 of the flushes over onto Foot, that's 4 elims, right?
Yeah.
So they could potentially have made it. Actually,
There was only 2 players from Fireflux that they got though.
There were. Oh, did they not get that 3rd player? Because there were 3 of them running up. I'm not sure.
So.
I'll have to wait. I think that either way, they're going to be right on the boundary here. I think they might be in first place, actually, from that position, right? Because Ragnar Kai are 111. They might be on 112 if they're not. If they didn't make it.
I think they got to 113, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to wait and see. Does that count, or do you need to actually get over?
Oh, that's a good question. We should probably double check that to make sure for the next match. I'm really interested in what these overall tables are going to go towards. If they were able to find it, if they were able to get even 1 more elim, if one of those elims hadn't been stolen away by Fireflux, right on that northern side, it could have been a completely different situation right now.
Yeah, even if they were able to get Symphony. Rather than getting taken down to the play zone. Again, there's a lot of things going on there, but the big thing for me was just Ralph fumbling on that nade over the top. I think he had a lot of time to get more info off the back of it, and he just sent it way too far down. And I mean, in my head, if I'm in that situation, I'm expecting them to all be tucked up against the wall, and I don't know if it was a case that Ralph was overthinking it, thinking that maybe they're trying to fake him out with the smokes by sending himself back down towards the side. I don't know. Let's take a look at the final blow here, because it actually could give us some of that information that we wanted to see. You see the 2 players there from Fireflux. I don't believe there's too many more coming through. So Madcap finds Ralph.
Okay. Ralph gets catch, and there go all the flushes. A lot of points, and I don't think they got a player there in those
Foot's
final moments.
Finishes up 4 as well. So yeah, I do think that I'm correct saying they're not over the Smash Zone.
Yeah, they might just be 1 point shy, though. Koa getting MVP for the Falcons. 5 elims, 924 damage. And it will be MVP title there, but it's a little bit bitter, given that they could have had it. They could have had that Smash Rule situation.
They could have done. They absolutely could have done. It was very, very close. But to be fair, there is a case where you're looking over towards Falcons, and they did a lot that game. They did a huge amount. And I don't think you can be too disappointed in what they were able to achieve that match. They get themselves very, very close.
And there we go. Here are our match stats with Koa taking those 2 spots. Kairos, 180 Elim coming on through, but goodness me, it was a really closely fought match. I mean, even Regnum Karya getting so close to that bubble on that Smash boundary, right? We've got a lot going on going into our match number 4 of the day, right? It's really, really exciting stuff coming on through. A lot more teams now also in contest for that 4th place. The Boars dropping down, S2G in danger. You've got Kara on that rise. You've got Papra Supermassive doing bits. I mean, even Fireflux now are back coming on in. Foot get the chicken dinner. They're kind of irrelevant to this tournament right now. They do manage to get a lot of points there, but it may be too little too late for them. They managed to get, 7 elims, so 17 points on the game.
Yeah, again, 17 points on the game is not terrible, but that should push them up a little bit further overall. For Fireflux too, they were chasing. We'll see how well they've done. And it is such a crazy grouping on the scoreline, right? Everyone's close to the bullseye here. Let's take a look at some of those replays coming through. Foot starting off pretty strong there. This is Kara going down from, again, it was a very, very messy fight here versus Bra. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on within the team, and then they're not able to bring things through. Regnum Karya could have maybe taken that same rotation that Barside took over towards the warehouse. Then again, if you are Regnum Karya and you have the experience over the years of international gameplay, you know firsthand that rotation doesn't work. This time it does. For the first time ever for Barside, everyone makes it past.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those like, 99 times out of 100, you just don't make that, so we're not going to do it. Well, that was the one. That was the one time. Just kind of crazy. And again, that's an interesting factor when you talk about different stages of competition, when you talk about what sort of playstyle is effective. You do have to a certain degree, play to the lobby, right? In an international top skill, best in the world kind of situation, that never works. Like, not even 1 in 100 times does that work. But being aware of the skill level of your opponents is oftentimes more important than the familiarity with the rotations themselves.
I would agree. I definitely agree. I think that for Boars, that certainly has been a big factor for them, hasn't it, really, when it comes down to it. But yeah, a real struggle towards the end here for Falcons. They get close enough, though. And I think for Falcons being up towards the top side of the lobby, you saw that they were all fist bumping away. They were all very happy with how it all broke down. And here's our stats after the back of it. 16 points there for the Falcons and 17 for Foot. But again, we are having so many points spread across so many teams, all the way down to 5 points for Papra Supermassive in 10th place. That is a crazy result looking up as we head 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and then 16 and 17. It is wild. It's very, very wild. But yeah, only 10 elims, so they're only able to get 1 off the back of that game. One more of the 9.
So they got 16 points, putting them on 110 blank. So they are 3 points shy of the boundary, 2nd place. And it will be so close now for 2 of those teams. Ida really not getting as much, but they are on 100 points now, so 13 points shy for them coming on in. It is going to be so closely fought coming into this next match. Match 5 could potentially be a massive game, right? Our first Miramar could be so interesting with what are we looking at here, right? 6 teams within reach of, like, very reasonably within reach of getting past that smash boundary. It's only likely that we could see maybe 4 of these teams getting past the smash boundary in a single match. Obviously, Regnum Kaya and Falcons don't need big games here to get past that boundary. Ida could comfortably get 13, not with a first place. I think for the other 3 teams there, they would be looking to get a chicken dinner to be able to break that boundary. So I'm thinking that at the most, 4 teams are going to be able to pass that boundary in this next match.
Yeah, we did get clarification that it is just only 113 points you need. You don't need to pass it. You just need to reach that mark. So for Regnum Kaya, that's a cool 2 points. For Falcons, it's 3. So yeah, there isn't a lot to be done for those 2 teams, but there has been many a time where we've seen squads go out with 0 points, just the 1 point, and that won't cut it. That really won't cut it. So there's still opportunity. For BWNRX, once again, another pretty bad game. And I think for them, their run is starting to come to a close for me. I think that their last hurrah was sort of yesterday.
Yeah, it did feel like that. And again, we did criticize them, right, in those later games for some slightly poor decision-making, some ineffectual fights that they were engaged in. And it seems like they've had a little bit of return to form for this first start of their final day here. The downturn, pretty ill-timed, especially when the teams above them are racing away right now. We're looking at certainly going to be over 100, it seems, to be able to achieve the 4th place, depending on which match we actually finish on. That will, of course, change based on if there is a smash rule or not. I don't feel like BWNRX are going to be able to keep up pace here if today is anything to go by. We're going to head and take a look at the stadium for a little bit over at the stage whilst we get our match number 4 ready for you guys. Don't go anywhere.
Lots to talk about here. Dare I ask, before we give away some things, predictions for the rest of the day. What's going to happen? How are these grand finals going to unfold?
Şimdi hepinizin en heyecanlandığı anlardan biri, hediye dağıtmaya geldik. Çarkımız var, çevireceğiz. Bize çarkta alkışlarla mezarcı eşlik edecek.
Şimdi çark mı çeviriyoruz burada?
Yok, önce sana bir soru soracağım.
Soru soracaksın. Zor olmaz.
Çok zor soracağım. İlk 4 sıralamanı alayım senden.
İlk 4 sıralamada benim kalbimden hep 4 Türk takımı geçiyor. Çünkü ne kadar Türk takımı gönderirsek Riyad'a o kadar güzel bir kariyer olur Türkiye için. Bütün offline'larla burada olması bizi gururlandırıyor. Sen bunu çevireceksen bayağı konuşuyorum gibi oldu. Sen çevirme oraya. Ben şöyle söyleyeyim. Kara'nın çıkabileceğini düşünüyorum. Falcon salmayacak. Büyük ihtimalle S2G de gelir. Ya bu üçlü çıkar. Ya kendimizi zaten saymıyorum. Onu saymaya gerek yok.
Regnum Karya.
Evet. S2G, Kara ve Falcon.
S2G, Kara, Falcons will be top 4, he says. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's pick someone.
I think we picked some people to win some prizes. Let's do what we did the last few days. We got 1, 2, 3 different stands here, 3 spins of the wheel. We need 3 people to scream the loudest, basically.
Yeah.
Should we start on that side over there?
Okay.
Billy, do you want to share with everyone the plan, and we'll get some ruckus, get some craziness going.
I'll go there and explain.
Oh yeah?
Gelmiyorum ben. Sen oradasın.
Sen burada kal abi. Ben şimdi bu tribüne geliyorum. Şimdi ödülü nasıl dağıtacağımızı ilk 2 gün burada olanlar biliyordur. En çok bağıranı seçeceğim. Bir dakika. Mikrofona bağırır mısın bir? Okay, I picked this little fellow. Bu arkadaşımızı seçtim. Şimdi özellikle istediğin bir ödül var mı? Mousepad olur, tişört olur, çanta olur, oyun içi kostüm olur. Tamam, o zaman çarkı çevirelim. Ne gelirse şansına. Mezarcı Bey, çarkı çevirebiliriz.
İstediği ödül neymiş beyefendi?
Dedi ki mezarcı abimden ne gelirse kabulümdür dedi.
Harbi mi? Tamam.
Should we spin the wheel? Right, let's spin the wheel. Let's see what happens here. Here we go.
Tam olarak
It's
öyle
spinning.
demedi ama olsun.
Kendimi Çarkıfelek'te gibi hissettim bu arada ya.
And let's see what it's gonna be. It's
Atkı geldi kanka.
Atkı güzel mi?
alabiliriz.
What?
So he's saying that I have a scarf already. Can I get a bag?
What's that, Billy?
He wants a bag.
A bag?
Because he already has a scarf.
What's bag in Turkish? Remind me.
Çanta.
Çanta.
Çanta.
Oh, would you believe the wind blew? It says çanta.
Çanta kazandı.
Hey!
Tebrik ediyorum.
Brilliant. Oh, so lucky. So lucky.
Şimdi.
Right, shall I go?
Yeah, you can pick the second one.
Shall I go this side?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, right. This side, who wants to win a prize? Let me hear you. Let's see, who would like to win a prize? You guys, you can't choose. You've got the main prize, the good looks, you two. Who wants to win something? Come on. I want to see who I'm going to... who's going to say? I want to see purple T-shirt there. Just behind you. There's a purple T-shirt just there. This guy? Yeah, purple T-shirt there. That's you. Yeah, do you want to stand up for me? All right, this guy here. What would you like to win? Anything. Anything. All right, anything. Anything goes.
Her şey olur diyor. Tamam.
Let's have a spin.
Yavaş çevireyim de beklemeyelim.
Let's see what the wheel gives you. Oh, there's me. Let's see what the wheel gives you. Here we go. It is a...
Tatilci seti.
Tatlıcı.
Tatlıcı mı?
In-game kostüm geldi.
You got some in-game
olur mu?
cosmetic
Kostüm olur
stuff.
mu?
Happy with that. Very happy.
That's a
Very
nice
happy.
skin.
We're very
Yeah.
happy with that. That's a great prize. Okay, we come back to the main floor.
Evet.
Let's for a change. You stand over there.
I'm going to stand on this side.
Yeah, let's change.
We're
it
really
just for
we're,
fun.
we're throwing the whole production out of whack here. I like this. Okay,
Evet.
we need one more.
Şimdi ben seçiyorum değil
Do you
mi?
want to choose someone? Okay, who wants to win something, guys?
Gidelim. Burası komple bizden zaten. Bak hepinizi seviyorum. Herkes Rekayla Tospik falan filan. Ben de bir bayan seçmek istiyorum. Şu hanımefendi olsun. Ne istersin? Özür dilerim. Onlara ben ayrı hediye veririm. Hiç fark etmez dedi. Ben çevirmeye geri dönüyorum o zaman. Doğru mu?
Okay.
Çevirmeye sen çevir. Fark etmez dedi.
Aynı anda çevirelim.
Çevir sana doğru.
Bu tarafa.
Evet,
So what are we?
tamam.
What are we hoping for here, Billy? What are we
I
hoping
don't
for?
know. What,
Tamam.
Ne istiyor? Ben-
Fark etmez.
Fark
Okay.
etmez. Tamam.
It's gonna be.
Acaba ne
It's
gelecek?
gonna be me. What's it gonna be? It's gonna be a. Keep
T-shirt.
the wind blew. A
T-shirt.
T-shirt. A T-shirt. Yeah. Love that. Thumbs
Süper.
up. Thumbs up. That's great. Thanks very much. That's great.
Teşekkür ediyoruz
Ben
mezarcıya.
teşekkür ederim. Kendinize iyi bakın.
Eyvallah,
Başarılar
bol şans.
bize.
Thank you so much.
Kolay
Thank you so
gelsin
much.
size.
Big round of applause.
Mezarcıya bir kez daha bir alkış alabilir miyiz sizlerden?
But Billy, as much as I love this wheel, our friends at Kelme have got 5 goodie bags to give away as well. Should we give out some more prizes? A few more?
Şimdi Adam diyor ki sponsorumuz gelmeden 5 kişilik daha hediyemiz varmış. Versek mi acaba diyor.
Yeah, we down for that?
Ya bence yeterince istemiyorlar, vermeyelim.
It's not loud enough. I need more. More. Better.
Tamam,
Better.
verelim o zaman.
Right,
Beş
shall
tane
I go?
daha.
Shall I go this side first?
Okay, you
No,
start
this
from there.
I'll start from there.
Okay,
I'm gonna do one over here first.
okay.
Ready? Okay, here we go.
Adam oradan
Okay.
seçecek bir kişiyi.
Okay. Who would like to win something? Anybody? Who would like to take away a Kelme bag? Okay, let me see. Let's see. Okay, well, lots of screaming. This guy, just here, we are screaming a lot here. What's your name?
Furkan.
Are you having a good day?
Anlamıyorum.
Congratulations, you can take away a goodie bag. Good job. Good job. Fist bump. Let's go.
Tamam. Furkan
Good job. There we go. There we go.
kardeşimiz ilk
We got
şanslı
one.
isim.
Huh?
Furkan.
Fulka?
Furkan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
First bag given away.
Okay.
Get one for you.
İlk
Okay, that's the first
şansımız
one.
Furkan'da.
We another one, Billy. Another one. Let's go. Let's go.
Pick
Let's
the
go.
second one too.
Huh?
Are you going to pick the second one?
I can do. Here? Where?
Yeah,
Where should I?
go ahead. Go
Do you know
ahead.
where? Do you know where? The balcony up here. This balcony, I think we need to give one away out this way. Should I give a balcony up here somewhere?
Okay.
Let's give another bag. The
Yukarıdan
balcony
birilerini
up here.
seçiyoruz
Let me see you.
yanında. Yukarıda
The
isteyen var
top
mı?
balcony there. Let me see you. Let me see, where are you? There we go. In the far corner with the flag there, the far corner. This little dude. Yeah, you, man. Yeah, you. This guy up here. Another bag going up there. Okay, the second one there, done.
The one on the right.
Yeah, on the right.
Şu bayraklı kardeşimizi seçtik. Onun da bilgilerini
That's right.
alalım hediye için.
But we need 3 more.
3 tane daha lazım şimdi.
Go on, Billy. Last 3. Go on, Bill. The Billmeister. Come on. Only time in my life I've ever felt wanted.
Şu arkada beyaz tişörtlü bir arkadaşımız var. Yeşil mi önünde bir şey var. Sen.
You got someone?
Yeah, I picked the guy.
Yeah, great.
With the white shirt.
We need 2 more. Let's go rapid fire 2 more times.
2 kişi daha lazım şimdi.
2 more. This is great. I'm having a good time. Hanging out by the wheel, just watching dreams come true.
This guy.
This guy here?
Yeah.
I'm Billy.
Halil'i seçtik. Halil.
Okay, Ali.
Okay. So we need last one.
I kill my bag. Yeah, one more. We didn't go down here. Do you want to go down this way?
Okay. You
Yeah,
want me to
one
go?
more. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Son bir tane kelmeden.
One more. You thought the grand finals were the main event. These Kelme goodie bags are like stars in the sky.
picked
Yeah.
it.
You found someone, Billy?
Hanife. We got Hanife for the last spot.
Nice.
Bilgilerinizi alacaklar. Daha sonra hediye teslim alanından alıyorlar değil mi? Yanlış hatırlamıyorum.
I've lost you. What's that?
I'm asking that they're going to receive the Kelme bags, the gift receiving area.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Each of these Kelme bags are going to be available at the gift shop downstairs. Anyone who won one, being up there or here, you can collect your prizes,
Yes,
as with the
yes,
Wonder
yes,
Wheel
yes.
earlier on as well. That was great. That was fun. That was good times. Big shout out to Kelme as well, provider of these goodie bags. We love you guys, one of the official partners of the show. Lots more maybe of this later, depending on what happens in the competition.
Yes, yeah.
Because Smash Rules, you never know. You never know, Billy. You never know. For now, though, we're going to head on back to the casters and continue with our competition. And things are getting very spicy now.
Kelme'ye bir kez daha çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Olur da Smash kuralıyla karşılaşma bitmezse günün geri kalanında hediyelerimiz devam edecek. Şimdi analiz masasına geçeceğiz ama şuraya bir zoom alabiliyor muyuz geçerken?
Thank you very much to the wonderful wheel that's dishing out all of those prizes. I mean, that's great stuff. Nice to throw one up to the balconies as well. Very mindful of you, Mr. Adam Savage.
Yeah, absolutely. All those folks over there not getting any love or attention, and finally someone got themselves a reward on that top side. But yeah, we're going to be heading over towards our match 3, halfway through the day already. Goodness me, time has flown by over here at the PMSL EU. Alongside with us, as always, is the very faithful and reliable GT30 Pro, Infinix, our smartphone sponsor here over at the PMSL EU on the road. The Esports World Cup, which will be happening from the 25th of July through to the 3rd of August. So make sure you're picking up your tickets for that too, because we're all heading over. We're all having a good time, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely. We'll be keeping an eye out for who's going to be qualifying. Of course, that is kind of the most important thing right now, those top 4 spots. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation around the Smash rulings coming on through, but it is the top 4 teams that head over to the PMWC to try and grab a spot there. So all important, really, to be able to look towards that. And of course, it's Regnum Karya who earned that extra spot. We would normally be on 3 spots, but because they won the PMGO, that extra spot is granted to the region. And they are doing their best to earn it right now. They are doing their best to get one of those spots. It might not be the 4th place spot. They kind of want that top spot, it seems. But right now, they have very close competition in the Falcons. I think they're 1 point behind.
Well, let's head back over towards the EWC as well. We just covered it a little bit there, but it's 25th of July, as I said before, through the 3rd of August. But what you didn't know is that it is in 2025, which is this year. You are correct. Wow, well done, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
But it will be the PMWC over at the EWC. A very, very fun tournament here, but a very stressful one right now for our teams over in PMSL EU who are looking for those 4 slots available. And time is running out. Time is running out for teams like S2G. And it would be a huge shame not to see them go through after what has been a wonderful performance over the weeks here for S2G, but they are just not finding those points. Hopefully, they can bring things back up to speed. That we have only had 2 games thus far. There's plenty more to be fought over here in the PMSL EU.
I wonder if S2G don't make it, if we could see Sara back on Regnum Kaya at PMWC.
You know, you're not. I wouldn't say I wouldn't put it past them.
It's a lot of ifs, right? But it would also feel kind of naff, right, for Toshpik to be like, oh, by the way, we just got Sara back, despite you qualifying with us. I'm not sure. I think that it wouldn't be out of the question to bring him as a sub, or to sort of alternate Toshpik and Sara depending on what map they want. I think that in sort of overall, I feel like Sara, he likes to be part of that IGLing role, and right now it seems like Regnum Kaya have got their groove on when it comes to the game. Although in the first two matches, they haven't been able to get 10 points, which is maybe something that they are a little bit regretful of. Even then, though, they wouldn't have been able to win either of these games right now. But if they win this next game, they're going to be kicking themselves, right, to have not been able to find the points that they needed in those last two games.
Yeah, there is also a case here right now for Reject. So obviously Reject, we hope they make it over towards the EWC. But for me, it's a case of Sara on, I think it was January this year, moved over to an inactive role on the team. So there is definitely a big potential for him to be loaned out here, because I think Apollo took reprised his role in Rejects. And will be taking over there alongside with Divine, Reiji, as well as Duello. So for Sara, I think he does have a little bit more free reign. Obviously, Reject still holds the contract, but I'm sure they would be happy to loan him out again to Regnum Kaya if S2G don't make it through.
That is if Regnum Kaya want to bring Sara back, right? Obviously, they had great success with him at PMGO. He is a powerful player on the roster, a great mind as well. One of our most expressive players, I think it's safe to say, which is lovely to see. Always enjoy the camera shots on Sara. He's rivaling Redox, I think, in my mind, for most expressive coming on through. But it is a question, right? Do Regnum Kaya want to be picking someone up like that at that time, after they've developed for the entire season as the four that they have right now? Will they be able to sort of mend those old ties? Is there any bad blood between Sara and the rest of the Regnum Kaya roster, potentially? Maybe it was Regnum Kaya, and they were like, we don't actually feel comfortable going forwards with a lone player, right? They want to have their players on their roster locked in as Regnum Kaya players, not bringing in a loan from outside the region. Potentially, that's sort of maybe more an organizational question. So a lot of interesting dynamics at play, but all of it comes down to whether or not S2G can maintain consistency, right? Because, I mean, you said at the start of the day, who's the most consistent team in the tournament? Well, S2G. Sure, during league stage, knockout stage, the start of the finals, they definitely were. But now, with the 5 sort of poor games that they had at the end of yesterday, starting off not really doing too much today as well, there are question marks in terms of their consistency in my mind.
Yeah, maybe. I think, again, when you talk about consistency, it's hard to just be like, well, they've had some off days, so now they're not consistent anymore. I think everyone has their off days. Everyone has their off games. I think it's hard to I think it would be cruel to talk about them in that way at this stage of the tournament. It's hard in finals, especially when you have a smash rule in finals as well. It's even worse. But there's a lot on the lines, a lot of pressure been taking place. I think even if they were to do badly for the rest of the day, I think you would still call them the most consistent team here at the PMSL EU.
I think in these finals, I mean, so far, I've just looked through their match record. It looks like they've had sort of 5 solid games over the court, like as in good, acceptable to really strong games. They have had obviously some massive games. Their 17 Elim chicken dinner, for instance, on day 1, a really huge game coming through from them. But including that, there's been 5 very strong games coming through from them, and the rest have not been that good at all. They've been very low single digits at best. We're up to, 14 matches played. Having below 50% of your matches being played like that, certainly, I will give you over the course of this tournament, they are the most consistent team. In the finals, definitely not.
Well, yeah, okay. It's a weird way to look at it, in my opinion, but sure.
I
I mean,
I just have
look
been
at other
disappointed
teams.
with S2G.
I mean, go look at other teams as well.
Okay.
And like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
look at Regnum Kaya, for instance. Like, how many of them have been really good games?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then they just had that pretty decent game on the last one. They got 6 points and won't count that for argument's sake. But 8 out of 14 sounds a hell of a lot better than 5 out of 14.
It's only 3 more matches. I mean, they're ahead. Right?
Yeah, but that's a huge amount. That's a huge amount.
Yeah.
That's 3 out of 14, which is pretty close to a quarter extra.
Yeah, and now we're also considering the fact that they have had a big downturn over the last let's say half a day, right? And we still don't. You still don't even know what's going to happen over the rest of the day. We've only seen 2 matches.
It's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Again, I think it is hard to make those statements, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I'm at least disappointed in S2G's performance. I'll put it that way. Maybe I will accept that you could make a solid case for them being incredibly consistent still. Obviously, they've got a lot of fan support here as well. They've got some level heads on their shoulders as well. They've been at that international level for a while now. They know what it's like. They can weather that storm. Our next match, looking like it's just around the corner. I think all our teams are looking to be locked in now, aiming for that trophy in the middle with the starburst lights surrounding it.
Mm-hmm. I do think that there's a case where I'll agree with you the fact that these past games for S2G have been pretty horrible. They really have been. 16th place, 15th places going out then is really not good. And I can't tell if it's circle based or not with how this has been going. A lot of teams are putting a lot more stock over towards that center, and the circle's definitely thrown some curveballs in there for our teams. Now, how they're going to play this going forward is really where it all comes to bear. And I think that if we get to the end of the day, and S2G's got more 16 places, then and there I will probably say that that this finals just hasn't been great for S2G. They started out strong, and that'll have clouded my judgment a little bit, but we'll wait and see. Right now, we are getting over towards our third match of the day. Plenty of teams looking to cross that boundary to head over towards the smash ruling and then potentially pick it up over on game 4, 5, and 6. I mean, there's potential no one gets over it, but it's 3 points for Falcons, 2 points for Regnum Kaya. I find it very hard to believe they won't reach those heights.
Yeah, it does feel sort of nigh on inevitable now, with 2 points needed for Regnum Kaya, with 3 points needed for Falcons, that they won't be able to get up there in this single match. You think that they will be doing everything that they can to just get those very minimal point scores. It will be interesting to see how they can do it, how they can get on with it. Looks like our stage is just about being set up now. Is everybody locked into the lobby? I'm expecting to see that plane path fairly soon, Blank. I think that we have got our players in as the referees just consulting, making sure everything is nice and locked in, nice and fair for everyone.
So what I'm looking for here really is some more strong performances from what we've seen before. I think Boars is in a bit of a spiral at the moment because their play style is no longer working as well as they did before, and I think that's due to some of our circles being a little bit more complicated to play. I'm hoping to see S2G pick it up. I'm hoping to see Kara get back into the swing of things because they have had great positions in the circle, just not been able to capitalize on them though.
Yeah, it has been pretty difficult for our teams that are being given these opportunities. I think that it is always pretty onerous to have a circle center up right on top of you, right? As much as you might be pretty happy about it, it then becomes your responsibility to make the most of it, right? Because that's like your big opportunity, your big chance to put up a 15 elim chicken dinner, get 25 points on a match, and just win the entire thing outright. But it is a lot harder than that. I think there's a lot that goes into it. And it's also very contingent on the surrounding terrain and the surrounding teams and how they hold. It is always tricky to sort of read that, to read into how the dynamics will shift based on who's playing around what area, based on which teams are playing around one another. as well. It is very, very difficult to make that consistently correct. Taking a look at the stage, it looks like we're still getting a little bit of something for Fenerbahce. I think that was Tyler from Fenerbahce going to jump up the stairs. Maybe one of his teams needs a bottle of water. We'll see if they're able to stay hydrated.
Yeah, keep them good to go. He's heading back into the lights behind the stage, which is looking fantastic. I'm getting hypnotized by these lights.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Occasionally when someone walks past it as well, and it just sort of like slightly shakes, man, that's the real one. It's actually not a light, it's actually the trophy itself that's doing this light. 100%.
That's correct. I think we should be getting into game fairly shortly, though.
One would hope.
I feel like it should be coming, like right about now. Yeah. 10 seconds.
I bet it's going to be like 6 seconds.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Ruin the illusion. Fine. As we are going to head into Erenkel for our third map of the day. We are into match number... I think this is match number 15 of the final set. We are going to be taking a look to see who can pass that smash point boundary. We said before it could be up to 4 teams in this match reasonably, with 2 teams very, very close with Regnum Kaya and Falcons, 2 and 3 points away respectively. And then you've got teams up towards that 100-point mark that could also reasonably jump on through, and others on the outside chance with a chicken dinner could also do it. We'll have to wait and see as the plane path hits the west side.
S2G out nice and early over towards Primorsk as we head up and over the top. Rozok in clear sight and view of the boys over on Regnum Kaya, and it will be Falcons jumping out here midway through the plane path to Pachinki. Nice and easy for them. Fenerbahce, on the other hand, heading over towards the western side of the map alongside with Papra Supermassive. But fairly reasonable. I think most teams drop around this area anywho. So it's not going to be too drastic. I think for Black Esports and Bra, it does cause some problems for them. Bra does need to now contest with Papra Supermassive for South George. I think they've really got a choice. They can't head down towards Mill to Power.
Yeah, they will just have to contest in that area, unfortunately. But you imagine that they're going to be a little bit more prepared for it, right? The first time it happened, you can kind of understand. Hang on a minute. It's a military circle. That is all the way down on the south side. What a way to challenge these teams, to find their way past that smash boundary, right? To see themselves safe and with a chance to win it all in a single match. We are going to have to go over the bridge, and we're going to have to go fast.
Absolutely. B2B Interactive will be getting over there very, very quickly straight away, starting in Ferry Pier. Ida as well towards Gaka. They're going to make a run for it too, but B2B Interactive will be over much, much faster than them. Likely a fight will break out between the both of them unless one sends left and the other goes right. But for S2G, how do they want to play this one out? Do they want to send over towards the eastern side or not?
That's the question. I mean, normally when we see them play from this position towards Military Island, they grab a hovercraft, they grab a boat, they get across, right? Either they're going to be able to start to get across the bridge. The question I have is, what weaponry does BWNRX pick up before they just go for those vehicles and get across? I don't think it's enough to convincingly go for a bridge hold, and I think they're just going to fade away, go for a little bit of loot, because you lose a lot of time in a fight that you don't necessarily feel like you can win convincingly.
No, absolutely not. It's one of those things where you come into close contact. And I mean, teams will have picked up maybe like Mini 14s. It's the iron sights on it. You take some pot shots at one on another. But you do want to break wide in that situation. For a lot of other teams, they're going to be down towards the southwest side. Waiting to make their way across, like you say. Making sure to get those vehicles on board, those boats on board to make this work.
Everybody moving fast here, Blank, trying to get across early. Fireflux, though, seemingly less concerned. They want to play this one late. Obviously, that is kind of the other option, right? You just take a lot of time and go through this circle late. to try and find your way through on the blue zone, on a bridge fight, maybe pick up some points here and there. Taking a look at the standings, of course, just to remind everyone, if you get 113 points, meaning Regnum Kaya would need 2, Falcons would need 3, Ida would need 13, that will put you in the smash point zone, which means that if you get a chicken dinner on any match after you break past that barrier or land on top of it, you will win the entire tournament. Just no matter what the point standings say, if you win a chicken dinner and are past that smash point barrier, you win with first place, a qualification spot to PMWC, as well as 35 grand for just that chicken dinner.
It's a lot. It's a lot to get. Regnum Kaya on the move out. Again, a team needs to move. They're heading over towards docks.
Kara going to be leaving from around that farm area, getting across on the hovercraft. The hovercraft really has changed up how Military Island rotates go, and you can see S2G going to be employing one as well. Before, it was always a case of, oh, let's get in a boat, we're going to have to try and get across and then find some vehicles afterwards. With the hovercraft being able to play on both land and water, you of course can get across. You can make some road inland as well, not being on foot. Get to those vehicle spawns, get to those buildings and compounds as well. Falcons on a bridge camp. They only need 3 points here, Blank. Fenerbahce may be delivering it straight to them. Savian will go in. Solke's the first to get knocked. Out on the bridge, Ralph looking to try and hold this. Just about sidesteps another vehicle, but they only get the 1 point here. It looks like the rest of them have made it away. Savian falling. Okay, so 2 points found for the Falcons. They are now 1 point shy of that smash boundary. They're on the hunt. They want it. Desperately, Redox trying to challenge it out, but can't quite find the shutdown. Not just yet. 112 now. The Falcons take first place, but they're 1 point shy of the boundary.
Again, still, you want to push that a little bit further, though. And chasing for these points, the risk of your own lives could be the part of your tournament end where there are so many teams chasing. You really aren't that far behind, all the way down towards 6th place with Balls on 93 points, tied up with S2G. So yeah, a serious potential here for them. The Falcons getting 2 there, 112. I think that they're much more comfortable now. Just the 1 elim, that's a very doable task.
Or a placement point.
Or a placement point. You are right, John.
Shots. It's S2G. Can they find the match they've been looking for against BWNRX? You don't imagine it's going to be too tall of an order if their track record today is going to be anything to go by. When he hops into the buggy, they're going to give up the ghost on their forward position. High ground, completely claimed by S2G, and actually minimises the points that have been earned by them. As he hops in the vehicle, allows Icy to clean up Kakali.
Another bad start there for BWNRX. It's not looking likely for them going forward. Capri's taking shots over to a bar site. Nobody will drop down. I think he just ticked over from drown damage on top of the bullets been sent through from Capri's. We'll clarify there for you, John, before you tell me off. Salonic, the distance, will finish off nobody.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up these points, it looks like. I don't feel like they're going to be able to get away as soon as that boat goes up in flames as well. They're trying to swim out of range, but yeah, it's just going to be open season. We've talked a lot about this top side, but we haven't talked about the teams that could potentially have a big game and jump up to be in that field as well. That does include K1. I'm looking at BWNRX, I'm looking at Fenerbahce, I'm looking at K1. All of those three have the chance to, with a big game, put themselves back in that conversation. So still down to 11th place, could make it up to 4th.
It's crazy. It is crazy. There's a lot of potential for so many of our squads here. Para losing 1. Too fun. Borslow opening up over towards Fireflux. I think at this rate, we'll have to leave Solus behind. I think it will be very, very difficult to pick them back up, and Critical will find that point. It was in 94, so not allowing S2G to get too far ahead here.
Interesting from the Boars. They were holding around the mouth of the bridge, right? They spot Fireflux. They actually run that down. They were holding there for quite a while, so it's not like they've just arrived at this location. And that'll be just them displaying what they like to do, right? They spot something and they just go. They just have that signal. They send on in. Falcons, potentially losing a player as the circle shifts out to the east side of the island. I don't think you can get Redox back up here. And this is, again, Redox going down first for the Falcons. Ralph may be looking to suppress, but S2G may look to chase this one down. Remember, they only need 1 point on this game to be in that smash point zone.
Not long distance there, though. Really quite a short sprint for them. 1 elim would be the nicest way to do it. I think getting over towards top 8, not always ideal, but certainly possible. Especially down here on Sosnovka as well, where we do sit ourselves over towards that eastern side. It's a bit of an awkward shift where most teams did push in on the west, and then we moved so far over towards the east, benefiting over towards K1 and Bra as well, I suppose.
Ida made their way across as well. Kara is sitting pretty central here. Decent position. Feels like they do know how to get through these situations. Falcons taking shots from Regnum Karya. That would be quite a turn up, wouldn't it? If, in an engagement between Falcons and Regnum Karya, both of them could, in theory, surpass that smash point boundary, even if they both go down in that fight. Regnum Karya would need 2 elims, Falcons would need just the 1 against Regnum Karya, and they could potentially get each other over that crossing line to the smash point boundary.
Regnum Karya, this is a really good space on the map as well to play in. Over on that north side near the beachhead, it's a perfect position to get started on your games here. TTQ is coming across from the water, starting from Sharkfin, heading downwards. So they do have Silas currently trolling the beachhead for that eventuality. Ida's getting a little bit too close for comfort, though. They do get shot off from that angle.
It's all coming down to single points here towards the top, Blank. And you've got to remember as well, in that last game, a couple of elims got snatched away from the Falcons. There were some blue zones shenanigans as well. If they'd have been able to pick up another player from Fenerbahce, if those sprays had been slightly more on target on that bridge crossing, it all could be so different. Anything would have given Falcons the edge here. Or for that matter, Regnum Karya, if they'd have gone for that crossing over the river. But what's done is done, and they need to focus on this game. They need to keep their heads in the game as well. You can't let it override your nervous system. You need to keep cool, keep calm, collected. K1 have more of a fight to be getting on with as well, but it looks like they're going to lose a second player there. At a pretty crucial position as well. They do have the top of the mountain, though, on the east side of the military island.
BWNRX. Now, down to just 3. It's been a tough break for them. They've been looking to try and get up towards that top side. It's just not happening. Fireflux getting picked apart by the Boars, who've been chasing them down for quite some time here. This is over towards that western side as Fireflux attempted to make their way across. It didn't pan out for them. Was getting gate kept earlier, and now being the gatekeepers. It's so close to one of those Regnum Karya and Falcons. Quite amusing.
I wonder if they know. I wonder if they know who it is. What could be? Regnum Karya should know that the Falcons were playing sort of around this location. They should have seen that elimination feed. You might be mildly aware that it could be the Falcons. I think the Falcons are less likely to know that this is Regnum Karya. They haven't been involved in any fighting just yet. They do have that outpost off to the northwest side as well. Loxley just keeping sightlines out towards the northern shore. Boars moving up. Tulika scouting out towards the outpost for S2G. S2G right now are in 4th place. They have managed to win on that tiebreaker. Over on 4th place with Kara and with Boars, all on 95 points.
Just leapfrogging over one another time and time again. More points go through. Again, that 4th place slot just interchangeable all the time. Bra goes up against Foots, and the fight does conclude but will go down, and Bra picks up a couple of points here, trying to drag themselves out from 16th, sorry, will be a tough task. Let's see if they can make it work, but Kara is benefiting off the back of this one for along the way.
Kaya and Falcons, but all chiming in towards Boars. They're picking up points here, potentially. Novalo with more as well. They're looking for even more, and there they go, Falcons. They found that point. They're over the boundary. They get one more to boot. They've done what they needed to do this match. The question is, how far of a gap can they put between them and everyone else? And will they try and deny other teams the opportunity to do just what they've done?
It's hard now. It's hard to figure out where teams are playing, though. That's the only thing. Falcons won't know exactly where Regnum Kari is. It's not often you totally understand how a Sosnovka finish is going to play out. No one really has set positions. It's all dependent on timings. So denying teams is hard. Falcons would be... they'd be basically striking out in the dark, really.
They wouldn't have too much information. This circle's kind of nasty. It helps Kara pretty immensely there, as well as the positions towards the south side for BWNRX, which I think, do they have reduced players? I think they might have lost one or two potentially earlier on. Have to wait and see. They did lose one, didn't they, in an earlier situation, I think against S2G. So they could potentially be a little bit more easily run down. But Kara are earning points pretty consistently here as well, in the same sort of area that Regnum Kaya might be looking to pick them up.
And Kaya finding Falcons.
Ooh.
Give one shot over towards them. 112. Got Ralph as well as Koa down the hill. They know they're so close. They can taste it here. Still playing it fairly safe, which I respect. Being very cautious going forwards.
We've had our first team over the boundary. Regnum Kayo now 1 point away from doing the same. With Kara and S2G looking to try and jump up with a big game here as well. They don't have too far to go. Papa Supermassive on a bit of a mad dash on in. They could potentially, with a big game, jump up, but not right now. They are getting cut across pretty awfully. Thunder Talk as well, chiming in on this northwestern side to take the fight to Black Esports. Neither team really with a massive hope of getting too far, but there you go indeed. Regnum Kaya have found that point that they were looking for. Now they're on the hunt for S2G.
Taking plenty of shots out to many teams. S2G, IC will run down Wild, leaving them in a little bit more of a difficult spot. Plenty of rundowns coming through. Rita, in fact, finding Madcap off the bonnet.
I see.
Towards Loxy. That's an easy pickup there over towards Loxy himself, just dancing around the hovercraft.
The Falcons losing Koa on the drive-by as well. Regnum Kaya starting to get chipped away. S2G all too happy to pick up these points if they can, but it looks like they might try and get further into the circle. Is this Ida? I think from the south side chiming in as well. They're putting in pressure from this south edge, and S2G do need to be worried. That ridgeline is pretty good on the sight lines down towards this fight, but Ida turning around now, taking a little bit of distance, a little bit of time.
Wow.
There's another nade over towards Wild.
Over towards Silas, in fact. Really well played. And that does clean out Regnum Kaya. But they just about make it. They get 2 points. I said it wasn't too insurmountable, but felt like it kind of was there. But they have made the smash zone. That's all that really matters now for Regnum Kaya. They're over the line. S2G, great result. Up towards 4th place once again now with 99 points total, 6 elims on the match, looking to take this a little bit further. They will have to hold out Ida, who currently in 3rd place, which allows them to jump up a little bit further on the leaderboard too, which would be very beneficial for STP. Not quite over the 100-point mark, just 1 point shy.
Sarah on a mad dash with the blue zone at his back. He's really isolated here. Does manage to dip behind cover, and Ida are going to have to move off this off angle. Can heal out in the blue zone still. It is stage 4. The next zone just about to pop, but this west side is deciding so much of these tables, Blank. Every team, it seems, towards the top side of the tables has a foot in this fight. The Falcons diminished now down to 1, but of course they've done the work that they needed to do. You can see Ralph now just ahead. I'm really interested in what Carrot are going to be able to extract from this game. Look at the circle. It's pushing so hard over to this east side.
It's not a fun circle either, where it like kind of dips down towards the beach side. So it's a bit of a terrain to play around. For S2G, their biggest opponents right now is Ida. The fact that Sarah is able to get out, finds a vehicle and swings out off towards the side. Can't tell how healthy that vehicle was though, but you know, he makes it out. That's all that matters. K1 goes down in the process, leaving a lot of important teams in our final end game. After Supermassive, BW, NRX, Boars, Kara, S2G, Ida, and the final player from Falcons, just hanging on as long as possible.
Although they will have done enough so far to get over that smash point boundary with the potential of an instant win going into match number 3. It's a spray down for S2G. Challenge, not good. Icy falls and gets flushed, so they're down to 3 players now. Severely diminishing their potential here in this match. They are sequestered out to the west side and do need to fight through this one. They need to stay strong. Ida, it's the same story, but they're crashing into Kara. A challenge for these top spots, for these 4 qualification areas, and Kara winning this one out handily so far. Darkin with a nade in hand, doesn't get tagged by the first, but the nade goes off and it will take him down in the meantime. I think that will take down CEO later with the nade, but they're more than happy to find that one sent in. Papra Supermassive just across the way though, tearing through Kara in the meantime, and now it's just Lewis.
Yeah, Bra actually chimed in towards that one, taking some shots towards them. Ida upstairs, looking to hold on. I think there was a res that came through. A reset. Oh my days, Lewis!
Through the smoke, can't thread the needle, does get another knock, and actually does manage to take the 2 players downstairs out. Another nade sent on in, but that doesn't tag on. S2G are just across the road from this now, Blank. They have sent in towards the middle. How many players have they got left? They're still on 3. I don't know if all 3 of them are in there, but we'll have to wait and see. It's still just mad res is coming on through for Kara. The challenges around this 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place spots are crazy. They're getting hot, and Rita wants to keep things boiling, but he will go down as Lewis is on the swivel. With a nade could change things up. He just needs to find it through the door frame. Lewis trying to evade, but will not be there in time. Ida eliminating their competition.
Nice one for Ida. They really wanted to keep Kara down there, but S2G continue to climb. 7 elims on the game, looking for some more. 3 players alive. The only other 2 teams with 4 are Bra as well as Black Esports. 2 teams that I think a lot of squads aren't very afraid of here, but in this circle they could have some big impact going forward. Looking at the way this one's lining up, this is the position on the map that most teams would like to play around, which has the compound still in play, but we're about to shift here over towards a new spot in the circle as we head through to stage 6. And a lot of teams praying, hoping that it keeps these compounds in.
I'm interested about these hills to the north side of these compounds, Blank. I feel like they could be pretty impactful. BWNRX, I feel like this may be terminal for them. The nade overhead from Ezel looks for more as well. I just don't think you've got the cover to be making that one work. Frozen going down very, very low. Tags sent back his way. I think that's actually from S2G. Maybe even Ida from across the road. But a roadblock for BWNRX, who again, falling short of the mark. The next circle, further up to the north.
Cuts S2G in though. A little slice of the pie is important here for them. Staying in those buildings gives you so much control, so much advantage inside of this circle. It's nice. It's very, very nice. A lot of teams centered around here with the importance of those buildings. Ezel in a tight spot now will be a little bit of blue, but not long before Aaron picks that one up at distance. Aaron and Darkin still in this game, playing alongside now are back again here towards Mayhem. Surprisingly enough, they get Rita as well as Darkin back up on their feet. I did not expect that. It all comes from a slightly awkward nade from Lewis, which ultimately ends in their downfall. Falcons will lose their final player there, leaving them on 114 points, but they made it over the line.
In first place for now. They will end their game. Ida and S2G looking to try and change that. They do have the option to. They do have that opportunity. With Ida feeling fairly safe for now, We do have a little bit more to go, and it looks like they're going to try and flex out west, try and third-party this. Okay, they want to rock up onto the western edge. Black Esports a little bit further. The boars are sandwiched in between, and Narita has earned a lot of space with this wide flex out. A nade over towards the compound for S2G, and drops it outside of that hovercraft there. The rest of them trying to get across the road as well. In the meantime, Sulika for the boars holding things down, but he's the last to stand, and you've got to imagine Brat are going to be able to seal the deal here. But Ida crossing the road, that is big news. S2G, a nade over, and Ida are winning this fight against S2G, taking them very, very low. And they'd be ruining S2G's chances in the rest of this match. They're picking up the points here, Blank. They've taken a knock and a second as well, and there is still Kelsey to deal with, and that is one hell of a hurdle to cross. The spray down over towards Ida draws them short on 109. They do not get to the boundary, but it's just the one player now standing. I think we're going into match 3 with only 2 players in that zone, but there is still potential for S2G to ladder up pretty far here. They are 11 points short. Unfortunately, that means that they do need to do a lot of work, and by they, I mean just Kelsey.
And there's a lot of teams that are struggling here, and for Black Esports as well as Bra and BWNRX, these teams are likely to face up against one another sooner rather than later, and Kelsey might just be able to sneak a couple of these eliminations away. There should be a lot of death crates around that area that he can pick through, pilfer, and get some nades. One man with 6 or 7 nades can be a really big problem for quite a few teams, but you can see he's right on the edge. It's going to be hard for him to leave.
And of course, remember, you desperately want to be up in those top 4 every game from now on, because it could end in the next match, Blank. With 2 teams having that option, having that opportunity, you can't afford to drop out of the top 4 at any stage now. So for S2G, they're looking to defend, get as far away from Kara, who are right behind them, as they possibly can. Kelsey has it all to do here. Brat wanting to stop him. You got to think that Tron has to go first, though. And Kelsey breaks out. He's making his move.
Yeah, Tron's just going to try and live, get further into this game. There are 5 teams remaining. Laddering up to a 4th place would be ginormous. Rolex, though, has a nade in hand. I think he just spotted him slightly on that, and a nade comes behind him. Waiting with the nade, waiting for the jump out. Tron is holding.
He wants to ladder up. Okay, he's going to go down to the blue zone here. He's just waiting for the peak. Unfortunately, Kelsey doesn't pick up that point, but he gets the extra placement now as we're into our top 4. They have 9 elims on S2G for 102 points. And Rolex definitely saw that run out. Kelsey now with the challenge close by. I wonder if he spotted Rolex, but he's completely dead to rights here with a swash on the off angle. That should be him gone, down and out. They will finish on 106. They are now 7 points ahead of Kara on that 4th place bubble. If it ends right now, they would make it, but they've still got at least another match to play here.
Pretty nice, though, for S2G overall. With 106 points ahead of Kara, who are starting to feel the weight of these games on their shoulders. You can definitely tell that for them. There's a lot of nervous plays coming through from that team. BWNRX looking to make a mad dash around the corner. They could saddle themselves up alongside with the likes of Boars and Kara after this game if they're able to have a clean sweep and a chicken dinner. It's asking a lot, though. It's asking a lot from that squad.
Definitely is. I think BWNRX, I mean, to jump up to be in contest, they'd need more points than are available right now. With them being 3 of the remaining players, there's only 5 more points they can earn. I think they need something like 26 points or something on this game, and there's just no way that they can find that.
Oh, I just mean in terms of like 5th, 6th place.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Boars and Kara. Yeah. I'm not saying first place, that would be a month.
No, I was given more context there. I mean, I meant even to get up towards that area, right? They need a whole heck of a lot of points. And now they've been denied yet another elim and a nade sent over by Brat. They have full control of this circle. I'm surprised that BWNRX have gotten this far. Looked like they might have been dead to rights earlier. And they are really flagging. In terms of those med suppliers, you could see how much punishment they've had sent their way. Zedwolf with barely any ammo as well.
It has to be a very clean fight versus BWNRX, and they're caught on the outside of the circle. BWNRX just don't have the angles, and Bra has this full lineup. It's just going to have to be clear elims across the board. And with this lineup, it's very unlikely. Now, you are going against the 16th place team, so that's your favorable approach, but you're doing it with absolutely nothing. So the scales do even out slightly.
Definitely do. 3 nades for Quantum, though. I feel like that's the moneymaker right there. Quantum just needs to tag with 2 of those nades, or maybe even 1 of those nades, and it feels like it becomes just pretty much a guarantee. Even Frozen, super low ammo count across the board for everyone. It's unhappy.